Can you guys see me, or are we just doing voice?
I can't see you.
Okay,
Are we doing video or just voice? What are we doing here?
I'm not doing
Frank,
video.
Frank,
Frank
is
can
that
do
what you
video if you
sound
want.
like?
I'm not doing video.
Frank, you sound like you're gonna do my accounting.
Dude, everyone, that's hilarious. That's pretty great. I've never gotten that one.
Dude, you sound very
shots
sophisticated.
fired. Wow. Fuck. A lot of negative energy in this room. Holy shit.
It was supposed to be a compliment. I said it sounds very sophisticated.
No, it's not a compliment when you say you sound like you do my fucking accounting.
All right, just start the show, man. We'll talk about whatever.
You know, this is
I
the
think
real.
he did.
This is the real drinking episode when you got a Mexican guy and an Irish guy in the fucking chat now.
Hey, I told you I'm Italian. With the gabagool. All right, go for it. I don't know why the fuck you guys want me on the show. I'm a fucking clown.
Dude, you're acting like this is an actual serious podcast with something worthwhile to say.
Gio's convinced that so many people is gonna blow up and shit.
Yeah. Well, you guys were talking about Carson Daly and Sex and the City last episode.
Why you fucking listen?
Yeah,
And,
for your generation.
Yeah, Ben doesn't know that stuff, Gio. Me and Nosco were talking about Morrissey. And Ben was like, "Who's Morrissey?"
Yeah, you guys
Ben only knows
I kept
21 Pilots.
I was in like the late 90s too, like not even the early 90s.
Ben, are you gonna intro us here, or like what's happening?
Well, I vote somebody else does it this time. That'll be another running thing. All right, Gio, you do the intro.
No, I feel like you're the host of the podcast.
What the fuck? Nas did it last time. I mean,
I'll do the intro.
No, we need a white guy to host the podcast. We need this to make money. So go for it.
Well, welcome to the Lightcast podcast. I mean, I'm sorry.
Welcome to I'm About to Talk Shit. Episode 3.
Thank you, Andy. Volunteer.
I'm about to talk shit, or is it 44's talk shit experience?
It's just talk shit. Just put those in the name somewhere and you got it.
Educating children and shit.
Talk and shit.
Oh, sorry. I thought I was on Lightcast.
We got the number one scooper in the game, Gio. Isn't that true?
I think next week. I don't think I know. Next week, the Snyderverse is still not going to be restored. That's my scoop.
Oh my god. That's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it plays out.
Next week, not gonna happen.
Yeah, man.
I don't know about the week after, but next week it's not happening.
Why don't you get restored?
Is that what your sources tell you?
Where's Nosco at?
That's what I was gonna ask.
He's making pancakes.
He dropped that dope art, and now he's off to go run on a treadmill somewhere.
Interesting.
Yeah, he told us that he takes treadmills at very late at night. I don't know why.
All right, did you guys start the show already?
No, go ahead and start it for us.
Who?
You.
Well, what are we gonna talk about?
I don't know. What we want to talk about? It's the Talk Shit podcast.
Just shooting the shit or what?
Bro, I thought 44 was gonna be here for real.
We're gonna
You
talk
didn't.
about.
You really thought he was
king,
gonna join? You really thought he was gonna join? I don't think he's ever gonna come back onto the podcast.
All right. Well,
Why does he? Hey,
I got a topic.
Dude, hate us so much.
no, hold on.
Frank
Let me
has a
just
real
intro you
topic.
guys real
Let him
quick.
go. We already did the fucking intro.
Did you?
Yeah, Andy did it. Andy was like,
You're
"Talk
listening
Shit
to
podcast."
I'm about to talk.
Yeah, but I was
shit
gonna do it
podcast.
better.
Oh, we told you to do it, and you gave it to Andy. Now you want to do it again? So how many times are we going to intro this podcast? We're only like
I'll just
fucking
wait till
20
You're
minutes into it already.
You're listening to I'm About to Talk Shit, where we talk about how much we hate DC.
Yeah.
And sometimes venture off into Gio's indie films collection.
Yeah. Fuck yeah.
And we
And,
never have 44 on, even though it's
and-
his pod. Perfect. All right, so what do you guys want to talk about?
Frank has a topic.
All right. How about Batman Gate?
What's that?
What's that?
Oh, okay. Well,
Frank, don't bring up random topics like we know. Like, what the hell, man?
You're telling me that neither one of you have been seeing the shit be trending today about that?
If you would have listened to last week's podcast, you would have heard what's on my timeline. It's not fucking cape shit.
All right. So no, allegedly there's a guy, right, that worked for Marvel in the 90s and stuff. He's been like a penciler primarily, and he wrote some stories. And basically, he claims that he gave Michael Uslan the script to the Batman, and basically,
did that happen?
Yeah, I've never heard this before.
dude, yeah, it's all over Twitter, man. Like people basically like,
that's crazy.
because he's got 2 videos that are like almost like 20 minutes long each, and he's basically like outlining his plot and how like it's literally the Batman, and he gave it to Michael Uslan in the 90s or something like that.
Frank, I got a scoop for
That
you.
sucks.
I got a scoop for you on this one. If you listen to last week's podcast, you could hear us talking about it.
Oh my god.
Next topic.
So they didn't greenlight Batman 2. That's pretty good. And Ben Affleck's
That
back
was what I was
doing-
gonna say originally, but I was like, all right, maybe Batman Gate's a bit more scoopier.
Yeah, he's doing Ben Affleck's back doing I think this is Sill's scoop. That he's doing more reshoots for the Flash, and so is Keaton. I don't really give a fuck, to be honest. I don't care about this stuff anymore. Like, it's us, unless there's a Zach announcement. Whatever.
Yeah, it's a little exhausting, man.
Yeah. I'm ready for another Geo scoop.
I already gave you 2 scoops.
What were they? We
That
recorded.
the Snyderverse is not being restored next week.
I don't think we recorded that.
Yeah, we absolutely did. And then
All right.
also that half the show
That's an exclusive.
we talked about it last week. Hey, how's everyone doing? Andy, how's
What's
the
up,
lab?
Shut up.
How's it going?
All right, so last episode, you guys hold on. Last episode, you guys were saying something about how Ben Affleck's getting old, and even Zack Snyder's getting old. And while I appreciate, those thoughts, I also think with filmmakers, it doesn't really matter how old a film director gets. Some of them actually get better within time. Like
I mean,
Scorsese.
that's kind of what we were saying though. Like he's getting better, and he doesn't want to do like studio bullshit anymore.
Yeah. But with Ben, that does suck that he is getting older. And that's what keeps pissing me off. Like, he's not going to be able to play Batman unless they go Dark Knight Returns, which they already kind of did in BVS. But
Right.
I mean, as long as his stunt double, what's his man? What's that guy's at? As long as he's still in shape and doing his shit, should be fine, right?
Richard
no,
Citrone.
Yeah, Richard Citrone, thank you.
No, I would gladly watch the movie. What I'm saying is like, it's hard to think that Zaslav, when he's sitting there, he's like making all these decisions, kind of like just looking at the money. Why would he greenlight 10 years of a Batman that's old? Like, I think he would want a younger one because it would appeal to more people.
Yeah, but they already tried that with Pants and no one gave a shit.
That's also true. I don't know. I think
Sure.
I don't know about the marketing standpoint, but just from like an actor's standpoint, like the old thing, yeah, it matters in terms of physicality, but it also matters in terms of like you're in like the end of your lifetime, right? And your golden years or whatever. And you don't want to deal with stupid comic book fans anymore. Like,
Yeah.
why would you? You're an old guy, you're accomplished, and you've got Academy Awards and shit. Like, just go right off into the sunset, fucking take a nap on Jennifer Lopez's boat and shit. Like, I don't know. I don't think he's gonna just want to deal with it on a personal level anymore. It's just too much bullshit. And there's like press to deal with, and then there's studio pressure, and
Yeah, I don't know
that's
what
the part I think is a
that
big
Zaslav
factor.
guy. I don't know what he want. What I mean, I've heard different things from different sides of the argument that he doesn't want to have anything to do with the Snyderverse. And I've also heard from other people that he does. What do you guys think about that?
I have no idea. The one thing I've heard about Zaslav is that whenever the Make the Batfleck mobile billboard was going on in New York, that he actually wanted one of his people to go down and look at it and then ask them what their intentions were.
Well,
And
that's
so
cool.
he was like wanting the word on the street for what the hell this is all about. Because apparently he's never seen Twitter before.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, I don't really care about younger Batman. I don't know why a lot of people like. We've seen it too many times already. How many
Yeah.
times does Batman have to meet Catwoman? How many times does Batman have to like argue with Alfred in his garage about bullshit? You know, like, oh
I
man, you
agree.
didn't tell me that my parents were fucking doing mafioso shit behind my back. Like, who cares about that? Like, we haven't seen live action movies where older Batman, like well established Batman, is, you know.
I think we're on the same page, but like the way they're gonna think about it is marketing. So they're gonna be like, hey, we need hot young actors to be in this franchise. So they're gonna probably start focusing on like the Bat Family and other shit that they can. Like if they were to go the old Batman route, they do Batman Beyond or something like that. And that's kind of what they were trying to do with Batgirl, but obviously Zaza was like, no, get the fuck out.
I mean, I think
Yeah.
if you look at some of the moves that he's doing, what I would hope is that instead of having this WB that's so concerned with like what the fucking bloggers think and what like the the perception versus like the dollars and stuff, or like the perceived perception of everything, and kind of going with like what they know works and making good movies and shit like that. I hope he just is more towards that side of WB, like him rehiring Alan Horn. I think that's a sign of it. That might just be a financial move, but like he's obviously looking at things a little bit differently than what was happening before. So at least you can say that that's good. I just don't know if it's good for the Snyderverse. I don't know if that means that they pick up Zack again.
Yeah, I mean, it's good for WB, and I'll say I don't think Zach's gonna come back if WB is still a shit show. So if Zaslav gets WB to start being way more professional, then yeah, maybe Snyderverse is more possible. But immediately, yeah, I don't think it's gonna be like the next announcement or anything like that. Like we've still got. He said that we still have Black Adam, Flash, and Aquaman 2 before they even start announcing their new shit. So, and their new stuff better be in a different direction because that ship's gonna sink really fast if it's not.
And I mean, the perception right now of WB, even though it is a good thing that they did this, is that they'll just fucking cancel movies and take the tax credit on it. So as a director, the perception of working for WB is not fixed right now. It doesn't look like it's better. So there's still time for anything to happen there.
I mean, we kind of already covered some of this on the last one about like the Flash, but it still perplexes me. Like I understand it's a lot of money, but to go forward with an actor that everyone in the world almost who pays attention to media drama knows that Ezra Miller is not going to be coming back after this. So why would they watch a whole movie where he's the main character and they're going to get invested in this Flash? Like that makes no sense to me for people to for them to keep that going at the same on the same schedule. Like that should have been the first thing to get cut, and then Batgirl, and well maybe Black Adam too, but that would be a lot of relationships destroyed.
What do you think, Frank?
I mean, I'm really hoping that like yeah, there's a lot of this. You know, I do agree with a lot of points here, and I think that there's a lot of valid things, but I don't know. I kind of see signs pointing that I feel like this dude's about to like fucking hardcore reboot.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just being completely honest.
But dude,
like,
honestly, like, wouldn't that be better than like this painful shit of just watching Zack Snyder's universe get?
Oh, absolutely. No, I mean, I'm not trying to say like that it's worse than this. I mean, I think there's nothing worse than this, but I mean, I definitely obviously would prefer for the Snyderverse to be restored, but I mean, it's definitely like this is just a fucking mess, man. I mean,
So
the worst mess.
Since you guys bring it up, right? So let's say that they do a full reboot. Let's say that like they finish off the 3 films that are in production now. They come out, so Aquaman 2, Black Adam, and Shazam, 4, and The Flash. Those come out, and then they just restart everything, hard restart like Sony or something. So I know the guys in the room here. I know you guys are not really watching what's coming out right now. You're not really supporting WB. Would you, if they did a full reboot, start watching stuff again?
No.
Let's say it's good.
Start watching.
No, I wouldn't. I gotta be honest. Like I
DC
wasn't.
Shit.
Yeah, like DC, like anything that came out of WB. If they did like a full reboot now, so now Saslov is the one.
No, because I know it's gonna be trash.
Yeah, like when Man of Steel came out, I wasn't into Cape shit at all. Like I had moved on with my life and I was just doing my thing. And then Man of Steel came out and that pulled me back in. And then I was way in when BVS came out. So this DC stuff without Zach, I would be very casual, a casual viewer. I wouldn't be in it at all, really.
Well, I'd be into like, well, this doesn't really apply to the question because you asked like if they did a hard reboot, but I'd only be into what Zach wants to do. But even it's weird, like even more than that, actually would be like Ben Affleck doing something, like his own solo or something. Just because we haven't seen his take on.
But think about it this way: what if the reboot? So let's say a few films go into the reboot. Let's say we're 5 films into the reboot. We start to see that the reboot is like another more like, because WB was the center for grounded like superhero stuff. So, but what if they took that approach? What if that's what they were doing? It's just not with Zach. It's just
like the grounded shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, they tried that shit with Reeves, and it was super pretentious. That like Nolan.
Yeah, Gio, if they're gonna do that, they're gonna just spin it off of the Batman, and I don't want to see any more of that edgelord shit. Like,
dude, the Batman looks like it came out like in 2005, bro.
That's what I was saying earlier. I think I had a tweet earlier that said Zach made Watchmen 10 years too soon, and Matt Reeves made the Batman 20 years too late. Because like that would have been a dope movie in the early 2000s or like the 90s.
Yeah.
Before Nolan.
That's the 90s movie.
But it wasn't before Nolan. It's way late. And this has already been done way better with better actors and better cast and everything. So like, no, that's a universe. Zaslav has a hard job. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, it's hard to bring in. I think like they just fucked everything up so bad, and it's happening at the same time that they fucked up the comics too. Like, DC Comics have not been good for like fucking 25 years at this point. So I think they just kind of lost everyone. Like, I don't think the IPs are really worth anything.
I don't know. I feel like there actually has been like I mean, I'd say within the last like 3 to 4 years, it's been really bad. But like I don't know, like they kind of screwed over like certain creators that were like pretty okay on their runs too. Like they did some pretty messed up shit to certain people, and they kept all the ones that kind of suck.
Bring in Bendis, fucked everything really recently.
Yeah, if they really did. Dude, this dude took away Peter Tomasi's run like nothing. Peter Tomasi had a similar layout, like kind of like what they did with Tom King, but Tom King actually got to do it, whereas Peter Tomasi didn't get to do his 100-issue arc with Superman.
I do have to preface that I halfway through New 52, or after like the first year of New 52, I kind of stopped reading comics. I do have to say
that's fair. I mean, New 52 wasn't anyone's favorite.
Yeah, New 52 didn't really do anything great.
Yeah, that was I just kind of gave up because it was like when Disney was taking full control of all the Marvel stuff. That's when they started to pull X-Men off of stuff because they couldn't do them in movies. So they would not pull them into stories because if people don't notice, ever since Disney took over, they will push the comics that they want to make movies for later. So like that's why like Ironheart and Lady Thor and all that shit just like came out. They knew they were already
Marvel
for it. Yep. They were
this
already
shit's brand new in the comics, and they're like, well, it's comic accurate, so we can make a movie about it. That's exactly what they've been doing.
You guys talking about like DC Comics, how much they suck now?
Yeah.
All right, so I walked into this comic. I think I told you guys one time. I walked into this comic book shop, and this kid was like really trying to get me into the future state. Oh. And he was like telling me the premise for it. And like on paper, it sounded cool because he was like, yeah, man, Superman died. And Jonathan Kent is Superman now. My old ass was like thinking he was talking about Pa Kent.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
I was like, bro,
that's crazy. How the fuck did that happen?
What's the dude's name from Marvel? Kevin Conner.
Wait, who's Jonathan Kent? Who did they make Jonathan Kent now?
No, I was like, dude, Kevin Costner should get his own fucking Superman movie. That would be, I would fucking pay so much money to watch that. And then I go home and then I'm like looking it up and he's talking about like Superman's like son and he's all anemic looking and shit. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, that's whack. I don't care about that shit.
Yeah, it's super. Yeah, no, but Superboy.
Sucking for a long ass time, and it's like they have nothing to pull from that.
Was the guy you were talking to? Did he like run the shop? Was he like just trying to get you to buy shit?
No, he was just he worked there.
Yeah, that makes sense.
He was like looking at me, looking at the DC stuff, and he was like, "Oh man, you like?"
He's just trying to sell you a piece of shit.
No, he wasn't. He was like genuinely all about it. He was like, "Oh man, I love DC," and then he was telling me all about the new ones. I don't know. There's some people out there that
was his hair like painted bright blue?
You know, honestly, he looked like a younger version of me.
Oh,
you used to have blue hair.
Maybe you were like stuck in like a multiverse loop or some shit, where like that's your son.
He was trying to cast you in Army of the Dead too.
You're bad at reading comics. I don't know. I got really lost in that one. You get someone take that.
No one's looking at that fumble, buddy.
Cut that shit out.
It's like I'm the version of you that never got laid. What's up? Welcome to DC Comics. Nah, he was a good kid, but yeah, I don't know. You know what I was thinking about though too is like, it is kind of becoming cool bringing like fan favorites back, like how you saw in Spider-Man, No Way Home. They brought back Tobey Maguire, bro, and that movie came out like how many years ago? And they brought back Andrew Garfield because they know that like a lot of people on the internet love that dude. So like, who's to say that they might not, they're all about fucking copying Marvel. Who's to say that they might not want to do something where, hey, let's bring back Ben Affleck because he has his own fan base.
That's why I think like if they do the reboot, right, and it's like 5 years down the line, I feel like I might just start watching the movies again because I just don't give a fuck anymore. Like I'm not invested in it anymore. That's sort of been how I've been watching these new Marvel movies. Like I don't give a fuck. Like I don't even know what happened. I think past like I didn't see the second Avengers. Like I saw the one where they Infinity War when they start like Thanos won, but I didn't see the other. I think I did see it, but like, I didn't like it, and I just erased it from my mind. But like I didn't know what was going on watching like Shang-Chi or some shit like that. And I'm just like, oh, I could care less. Like, what happened before it, what happened after. I don't really care what's happening in the movie. Like, I'm just there.
We're not talking about Doctor Strange 2, right?
Doctor Strange 2 is really good.
It is really good.
I fucking love it.
That's the worst Marvel movie I've ever seen in my life. And it pains me to say that because I love Sam Raimi so much.
How?
Yeah, I can't believe Sam Raimi.
Did you not see Miss Marvel? Did you not see every fucking movie they made since they got acquired by Disney? Are you kidding me? They're all trash. Even Winter Soldier, you guys are sitting there and you're like, oh, the Sober is it? You know, the Winter Soldier was almost it. No, it's not. It's a piece of shit.
Anyway,
But
back
I like
to
Winter
Andy.
Soldier.
for me, it was like the most. I think I'd have to say, it was the pacing, bro. It was like that. That movie was like all over the place. Never gave me
Yeah,
time
it was
to fucking
fast.
take a
It was
breather.
fast. But that was the point of the
wasn't
movie.
fast,
Like,
it was
running through
just
you're
shit.
running through the multiverse. Like, it's supposed to be moving fast. Like the idea that they're like, what's the word? Like they're disoriented and shit. Like that's playing into what's going on with them. Have you guys never seen like a Sam Raimi movie?
I love.
Bro, are you serious? That was not a Sam Raimi movie.
Yeah,
That
felt
was
like
Sam Raimi
it felt
visuals,
like
baby.
It felt like
That was not a
years.
Sam Raimi movie.
That is
He
the
only
most
signed
Sam
on
Raimi
for the
movie he
paycheck.
made in years. No,
It
that's
felt
the
like-
most Sam Raimi movie he made in years. And
No.
he's been a
Bro.
blockbuster director for like since the fucking 90s. He was making rom-coms in the 90s.
No.
Yeah, that's
Like,
true.
We're just
you guys
talking
are
about
acting like
Spider-Man.
that's above him or
It
some shit.
felt
No,
like Disney.
no. Before he
just
made
told Sam
Spider-Man, he was
Raimi what
making
to do.
fucking rom-coms.
Gio, shut the fuck up. How do I mute Gio? Let him.
Yeah.
All right, Andy, tell him what it is.
It felt like Disney just told Sam Raimi what to fucking do, and they're
That's
like, we
exactly
want your cool ass effects, bro, because you're fucking weird, and Doctor Strange is weird, and we want weird shit. And it felt like he didn't get to really have. Like, do you see him talking about Doctor Strange too right now? You don't see
Oh,
him
he
talking
didn't give
about
a fuck
anything.
about it.
Yeah,
But that's the thing, like,
a sequel.
even in the interviews, he was saying, I was told what characters have to be in my movie. Like right then
See, I
and there.
think-
What the fuck?
See, I didn't even know that.
That's
I didn't even know that, Ben.
Yeah.
And I can tell that's what was happening.
Yeah, he was just like, whatever.
And it's stupid. You could have brought in Tom Cruise. You could have brought in Tom Cruise as
What?
Iron Man.
What are you talking about?
Oh,
You
Tom
could've
Cruise
brought-
Iron Man.
See, okay.
That's what Andy
exactly
really
it.
wanted. That's what
Andy,
really.
That's
Andy,
why Andy
Iron
doesn't like
Man.
it. Really, he
That's
definitely was
Andy-
waiting for that.
Andy and Ben, that's why you both don't like the movie, though. You didn't listen to what I said about how I watch these movies. I don't expect anything out of them. Like I don't know. I don't care what's happening with the multiverse of fucking Disney. I didn't expect them. I didn't know who they were gonna fight, who they weren't gonna fight. I think I saw the
started
trailer.
caring. Listen, I was like you. I didn't care. But I started giving a shit after I saw Spider-Man No Way Home. I was like, okay, let's do this cool shit. And then they just dropped the ball. It's like, it's just like
this
X-Men.
stuff, to me,
X-Men,
this was as cool. To me, this was as cool as No Way Home. Like No Way Home is also
shut the fuck up.
No,
why are
No
you
Way
defending this shit? Oh my
Wait,
god.
hold on. No Way Home is also inconsequential. Like Toby and Andy and Andrew Garfield being on it doesn't mean anything. Like it doesn't mean that they have to bring him back or anything like that. Like they're still going with Spider Child. That's still the guy that's fucking Spider-Man to them. So it was cool that they brought him back, and like the movie's cool in its own space. That's the same way I feel about Doctor Strange. Like I care less what happens before it, care less what happens after it. While I'm watching the movie, it's just fun seeing him run around.
As
and all
a
this, like,
standalone,
shit.
it is pretty solid. I think.
Yeah,
So.
it's a solid standalone movie, and that's how I'm watching all of them. Like I don't know what's going on in the MCU. Like who are the Avengers fighting right now? Are there Avengers? Like do this? I have no idea like, what's going on. When I
I'm
saw
gonna let
man.
you win,
I don't-
even though you're wrong.
I don't fucking know, man. What do you? It's the water you guys are drinking, making you guys think Marvel movies are awesome, and Sam Raimi was actually the director and shit. Like, what do they put in the water up there?
I don't know. What do they put in the water in Oklahoma to enjoy Thor: Love and Thunder?
I didn't say that.
Yes, you did.
I said it was better than Multiverse of Madness,
Shut up! Oh my
and
god!
it fucking is.
I can't see it yet. They haven't put it on the pirate.
At least that was an actual director-made movie.
I don't know
Sam
what that
Raimi had
is.
no fucking clue what was going on. In
I
Multiverse.
forgot what I was gonna say.
See a director is a very sus statement. I don't know about that.
Yeah.
That all those jokes were very Taika Waititi. Those were all his fart jokes, and you
No,
can't take that away from him.
I'm arguing that you're calling him the director. I don't. Yeah, he makes jokes. I guess
He makes jokes. Makes James Gunn style jokes, but they're all jokes in his mind. Anyway, let's move off of the clown MCU. Like, I don't want to talk about multiverse anymore. What else you guys got?
Well, I was gonna say something else, but I totally forgot what it was. So.
Oh, that's a cool input you got there, Andy. Thanks for sharing.
I was like, wait a minute, Gio's wrong. Because
I agree. Gio's wrong.
I had a drink of my beer, and I was like, "What was I gonna say?"
Well, so I was gonna say, back when you're talking about bringing back Ben Affleck, they did bring back an old Batman, and that's Keaton, and they're trying to do the No Way Home thing with the Flash, but that's been such a shit show that they can't get it off the ground. It's crazy. But I don't
like
want to see a cartoonish
I
version.
don't know why. You know what? I don't have no idea why people thought like, yeah, man, let's bring back Michael Keaton. Like everyone, I think they think that everyone, like Michael Keaton's Batman is infallible, you know, and it's stupid. Like he's not. Like
Just
I don't know.
40-year-olds.
Like who
I don't know, man.
who
I
thinks
was
Michael Keaton's
born-
Batman is the best?
I was in this weird bubble where fucking Val Kilmer's my Batman. For like a long time, Val Kilmer was my Batman.
So I actually know one person who actually does think that, but he's like over 45, and that was the first movie he ever watched in theaters.
Is he like a
Yeah, that's
gym
perfect.
rat?
Gio's 45.
Frank, is
Yeah.
the
I'm not
person that you
45.
know? Is the person that you know? Is he like a gym rat?
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I understand why you would think that.
No,
but
I feel like a bunch
Andy.
of jocks. I feel like a bunch of
No,
jocks.
Jock's like Bale Batman.
That's
Keaton.
that. Yeah,
that's
I feel like
you're
they do.
right. He was right.
Yeah. Jock's
Yeah,
Jock-
that is actually a fact. Every jock I know definitely fucking loves Bale. Like
Fucking love
worships
Bale.
the ground he walks on.
Yeah, because
Like-
he did American Psycho. You guys forget about that. Like every jock is the guy from American Psycho. But yeah, no, fuck. I don't know. I never liked the fucking Tim Burton movies. It was just stupid, and like I just don't like the style. I don't like that. Like it was like cartoony, but not. And it was like I don't like his sense of humor too. I don't know. I just didn't like the visuals from it. So
You don't want to
I
get
didn't
nuts?
get into
You didn't think that was hilarious?
you want to get
No, I didn't get into Batman movies until Batman Forever.
you know,
Val Kilmer was Batman.
Bro, hell yeah. You know what I love
That was
about
my shit.
You know
That
what
was
I
my
love about
shit.
Batman Forever?
It was funny. It was like a good movie.
No, but you know what I loved about it the most?
What did you love the most, man?
Is the song by Seal.
Oh yeah, dude, that was dope.
You know, that's
What
like
are you eating?
I'm having some Sour Patch Kids.
Are they just Sour Patch Kid like
No,
or
you
are they
can't.
like special Sour
Andy,
Patch?
you can't.
If you're asking
chewing
me
on
if
gummies
I'm
like that.
I was gonna say if you ask me that if I'm doing drugs here, that's a no. I took the DARE program in school.
Hey,
You know, if my name
weed
was
is legal in New
if
York.
my
It's
name,
not a
if my
drug.
name, if
Calm
my
down.
name was Frank, I would just tell people go Frank yourself. That would be like my username on everything.
Oh my god! But what I was
Alright.
trying to say,
Frank,
going
you
back
gotta change your name now.
to what?
Change it for like a week.
Or Lord Frank
To what?
Frank
To go
business.
Frank yourself.
Oh Lord, okay, go Frank yourself. Okay, I'll do it.
Frank business.
I've been trying to say this fucking point for the last like 7 minutes. Okay.
All right, let's mute Frank. What do you guys want to talk about?
You fucking guy. I don't even want to say it no more. No,
No, go ahead. You're gonna talk about your gym rat.
Batman Forever.
friend.
I like
No,
Podcast.
I'm not gonna talk about a gym rat friend. This is how, like, Ben, if you don't space out and listen, you know exactly what I was going to interject. Okay. What I was gonna say is like that I don't understand this absolute praise like for Matt Reeves being like this freaking visionary genius because like right what Gio said, I didn't particularly care for the Burton stuff, right? And all I feel that Matt Reeves does is just take the Nolan feel and look and just put the fucking Tim Burton aesthetic in it, and that's all he did.
Yeah, it's kind of like a mix between the two.
Yeah, because the Tim Burton aesthetic feels like mad 80s, and then
Yeah.
feels like the 90s version of that.
Yeah,
Like, that's what would happen if it like just grew up a little bit.
yeah.
And, like they kind of went in, like a different direction with Batman Forever. Like it was 90s, but what? What?
Nothing, man. I was just nothing.
Okay, I lost my point. I don't care.
I was just thinking about how much like I really miss 44 right now and his input. Like, I really want his voice to just chime in and just be like,
What? And to
telling
talk
us
about
why
that-
we're all fucking
Yeah,
stupid.
I actually miss that too. I just want to hear him rant for half
and
the
then
show.
just rant and tell us all, and then tell us to stop interrupting and let him finish and
You
stuff.
know what I actually love about the
You
first
feel me? You
episode?
feel me?
Everyone in the first episode sounded so HD, crystal clear, and it sounded like 44 was calling in from a cell phone, like in your office, like just like, and you had him on speaker, which fucking really helps towards the ranting.
All right, 44. You heard him. Upgrade your setup, man. Jesus.
No, I know, no, keep calling from
Wait.
the flip
How
phone.
does my setup sound? Because I don't have a microphone.
You're a little
Everyone
bit quiet,
sounds
but-
HD.
You
It sounds
fine.
what?
HD.
Fine.
Everyone sounds HD.
Okay. Because I have a mic, I just don't know where it's at. When I had my stupid little podcast like 2 years ago, I bought one of those. Like, Ben's sounds amazing. Ben's microphone sounds good. I think, yeah.
He's low key
I'm just using my
Twitch.
laptop mic. Like, I don't even have a headset on.
What are you using?
My laptop mic.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Yeah, I don't know what to tell you.
But I sound quiet. What about now?
No, you sound fine. It was just earlier it was a little quiet.
Ben low key streams on Twitch.
Well, you heard
Actually,
it
I
here.
have an
You heard it here
OnlyFans.
first. Ben thinks I'm fine.
We need Jeff for that type of conversation.
Anyways,
Fuck, I was hoping Oscar was gonna be on here.
Gio, what were you saying, bro, about Batman Forever?
Yeah, I forgot.
Gio's at the point of the night where he's too high.
No, I'm not. I just forgot because I got interrupted for a whole rant about how Andy wants me to be interrupted by 44. So instead, he interrupted me by himself.
Andy became 44.
So I forgot what the fuck I was saying because I'm an old man, but I'm not 45. I'm 34. So, for the Korean girls out there. Anyway, continue.
Gio, no Korean girl is gonna watch
Gio's
this.
sending this to girls thinking that they're gonna like it.
Yo, I'm a tastemaker, bro. You didn't even know.
Oh my god. Bro, we do need 44 on here.
No, you just need to make a fucking topic list. And we told you.
Oh yeah, we were gonna do that, and then we
I
just.
told you.
I thought you guys were gonna
we're
be
just-
so
right
sauced
now,
up. You'd be too
we're just
busy
kinda
talking
like-
shit about somebody else.
Let's wait for Nosco because then he'll actually come in here with topics probably.
We're just dipping our toes in the water right now, bro. Don't even worry about it,
Oh
Yeah, we're
my-
getting progressively more drunk.
Oh shit!
Yeah,
I was
like
watching,
if the audience has any, critiques of our podcast, you can direct them to Parademon44, and
On
he will
Twitter.
let you know what. He will let you know what he thinks about them, and I agree with whatever he says.
Yeah. Sam Raimi come back and do Spider-Man 2 with Andrew Garfield.
It's
three?
gonna be the
Spider-Man
3.
3?
Yeah, he gets a 3.
Man, that'd be a weird combo. Sam Raimi.
I was just
doing
gonna
the
say,
Spider-
like that was 3 things there that just made me like go, what? Spider-Man 2 with
can't
Andrew
believe-
Garfield, Sam
Sam
Raimi.
Raimi.
What the fuck?
He reboots his own movie with the other Spider-Man.
Yeah, bro. I was like, remember? Hey, do you guys remember when there was like headlines saying, like Sam Raimi would be so down to do a Batman movie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like really about that. I was like, that would be so great if he did Ben Affleck's Batman. But then I saw Doctor Strange 2, and I was like,
Nah.
never the fuck mind, bro.
I wouldn't want to watch a Batman movie like that.
Yeah, no, that's
See, that's the thing. That's what I'm saying. Like, I care about Batman. I don't give a fuck about Doctor Strange, so it's fine. See him have a midlife crisis. Like, I was with it. It was good. I was having a good time.
Gio only liked that movie, and you guys would have known this if you listened to that last episode, but Gio only liked that movie because he saw himself in Doctor Strange. Or no, he saw himself in Wanda killing everybody.
Doctor Strange.
He missed out on the love of his life.
Wanda doesn't have a midlife. Well, I think she does.
It's those kids.
Yo, they both have midlife crises. Like,
That's why you liked it. Because you're
Yeah.
old, man.
Gio, you're not
Ben's
midlife crisis.
Ben's
That's okay.
favorite character is Wanda.
You're too young to have a midlife crisis. And I've been having my midlife
34.
crisis since I was like 7. So
I'm 34. Like I'm at my midlife. You don't really make it that past like 70. That's enough.
midlife is like 45, bro.
Who the fuck lives to 90? That's a lot. I don't have money for that.
Yeah, it's okay. Guys don't live that long. Girls might.
Yeah, women live to 90, not me.
I'll hit 65 and kick it.
You know how much drinking I've done?
You'll be lucky to make it to 50.
That's what I'm saying. I'm at I'm at my midlife already. I'm there.
That's what I was saying.
Yeah.
Did you
I'm
know
not
there was
saying
like
you're actually 45, Gio. I'm saying, mentally, that's where you're at.
Oh yeah, for sure. I've been there.
Yeah.
I think people in general exaggerate like age and stuff. Like there's 60-year-old motherfuckers that can fucking probably outrun me. Shit. But did you know that there's like some tribes or this tribe that used to think that living past 30 was like evil. Like if you live past that, it meant something.
So they kill themselves?
Bro, we need to rename this podcast Andy's Random Thoughts.
God.
Wait.
Sorry,
I gotta know.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to sound like Joe Rogan for a second.
No, I'd much rather listen to you ramble on.
Hold on. I have a
Back to
question
Cape
about
Shit.
There's
this
a
tribe.
tribe that thinks it's
I have-
bad to live past 30.
There
I
was
have a
some
question
tribe.
about this tribe. Do they kill themselves after 30?
Ew.
Yeah, something like that. I remember there was
What?
like, yeah, there was
That's
like
crazy.
they would do that like because back in the day,
Hold
I
on.
guess, and this
Let me look this up. Let me fact check this. Keep talking.
Yeah, what's the
Gonna
tribe
fucking-
name?
New York, the fucking shit out of that in my fucking comment.
I went into incognito because I'm like tribe that kills itself.
Incognito won't save you.
Well, yeah, because now we
VPN
have
next
like
gen.
all this like all these health, like now like we go to the dentist and shit. We don't die like from a bad tooth or whatever. So like back in the day, you didn't live that long. Just fucking
but
ignore
that's
me,
not-
bro. I'm fucking
Not
5
living that
years
long is
deep.
not the same as like kill yourself at 30. That's not.
Yeah, I don't see it. I'm not.
I believe you, Andy. You don't have to prove yourself with Google searches to me.
Fuck it. All feelings, no facts. That's how this podcast works.
All right, I'm gonna look it up.
Gio, when we go to
Damn
Applebee's,
it. See what you did, you.
Yo, bro.
Stop fucking
Bro, I
interrupting.
love
Next time
Applebee's,
Andy starts
man.
talking, I'm gonna mute you.
Dude, I just got so excited. I want an Applebee's mudslide.
dude,
You ever have
we
one of
gotta hit
those?
Applebee's, bro. No, I haven't.
And then you get the
What's your
jalapeno
thing with
popper.
Applebee's, man? Like, Jesus.
That's where the fucking cool people go when you're
Ben,
in. Like,
Ben, what do you
The
like
old
to eat
people,
then?
yeah.
Because like you were
Oh,
hating
the
on
cool
pizza when
people.
you came for the fucking screening. You just don't like Applebee's. What is it?
that was
Where you-
that was okay pizza.
Applebee's
was,
is
it
terrible.
was. It was okay pizza, I agree. But still, what's Ben's choice of food? I just want to know.
Well, first off, pizza in general just makes me shit myself, so I can't do it.
Gotcha.
But that pizza in particular was just meh. It was okay. I mean,
You made
I've
it
had
through
really
the
good New
movie.
York, and Chicago's better, but
You made it through the movie, so it didn't make you shit yourself.
My boy Nosco
yeah, I
has
was
joined.
prepared.
Hey,
All right,
everybody.
we can get started. Nas, give us an intro to this episode. We're gonna erase everything we just talked about.
The fuck was wrong with my intro, bro?
What happened?
Nas is the professional here, Andy. What's up, Nas?
Is Andy going as Darth Papa?
He is.
Going on what?
No, I just saw his name, Darth Papa. I just saw that.
Oh,
I was
yeah.
thinking,
How come
Oh,
everybody
that-
sees names? I don't see names.
I can see
Here, you
names.
have to look at your phone to see what's going on, man.
Oh, I'm not on my phone. I'm on the computer.
I'm on my laptop, so I don't know what your problem is.
Okay, I don't know either. All right, continue, Nas. I'm sorry.
hey,
Again.
where's 44? Isn't this his podcast?
That's what we were just wondering.
That's hilarious. That's like the new thing. He's never gonna show up again, is he?
I said that. I
I'll
said
send a text.
44 should never appear on his own podcast ever again.
What's going on, guys? What are we talking about?
Honestly, we're kind of looking for topics. We were talking about Batman and Sam Raimi and how Multiverse of Madness sucks, but we're not going to go back to that. And then we were
I haven't
talking
even
about what?
I haven't even watched Doctor Strange 2 yet.
Don't do that to yourself.
But isn't Gio highly recommended?
Yeah, it's his favorite movie.
Well,
It's a
let me
good
ask you guys. Let me ask you guys a question. You can all take turns. What do you think it is that made you love Zack Snyder's version of DC more than any other previous version before?
This is so gay.
I think it's great. Great question.
Andy, I appreciate the question.
Who was the one that just said that is so gay?
You.
Who else? Who else loves to call everything?
Reveal yourself.
Who sounds like a hamster right now? Who is it?
Who else sounds like a hamster?
Somebody has a really high pitch.
Yeah, do we need to call an ambulance?
Bye.
He's got COVID and now he can't stop.
Dude, I was
Dude, fucking Gio is like, you need a list of things to talk about. And my ass is over here like, all right, well, what about this, guys? And Gio's like, hey.
Yeah. Dude, I was catching up on the chat, and then when Frank said, how are we going to beat Lycats like this, I started laughing so hard.
I actually mentioned that because everyone was trying to get an intro going. I'm like, welcome to the Lycat. I mean,
Well, first off, you got to thank everybody for tuning into this podcast, even though we're the only ones listening to this.
Yeah, that's
right. We got to thank 44 for letting us be on this podcast, for letting us be guests. So thank you, 44. Like the best host ever. I know he's gonna sue me. I had some free time today, so I cranked out a drawing of him again. So
you'll never afford that lawyer.
Yeah, you can't afford a lawyer. You're fine.
I'm done for the night. I'm retiring.
Andy, you see what I'm saying? That was a professional intro right there from Nas. He's the dude who's got to do it. Now we can really start talking shit.
All right, the first
so
topic.
Fandom drama. Should we answer Andy's question, or should we move on to try and pick a fight with Hamad?
We can. Everybody answer Andy's question, and then Gio can answer why it's gay.
No, I was asking that question because Nosko was saying something, and it kind of connected to it, but I didn't say it right.
Oh, I was saying I didn't watch Doctor Strange 2 yet.
Yeah, you were saying you didn't watch Doctor Strange 2.
Yeah, I don't know when
I'm not drinking next time I come on.
Are you guys all high and drunk? Is that why there's so much giggling?
Yes.
I'm over here.
I feel like I'm the most sober one, but I'm not the most sober one. At all.
No, I'm the most sober one. I just drove home and I'm drinking water right now.
No, but I feel like Andy can't be as drunk as I am, but he sounds like he is.
No, this is typical Andy from what I've experienced.
Andy's hilarious, man. Andy's the best. So Frank, you gotta answer.
Because
am I going first?
They look really cool, and they feel like they're about something. And I watch a lot of movies that are not really about anything, like Doctor Strange 2. So that's why I like Zack Snyder movies. There we go.
Bro, I didn't even hear any of that, but
I just want to put a visual out there of okay, Ben, when you edit this, can you just throw in that gif of Natalie Portman clapping, just being sarcastic? just throw that in there. That.
Wait, we can't. We're not talking about Natalie Portman.
Oh,
we're talking about Natalie Portman.
He excommunicated her. He's over her. No more.
No.
You back in?
Well, the reason I'm asking you guys because about the whole thing, because like saying like everything sucks, bro. Everything that these people come out with just sucks. And
That's
it's
true.
like there's something different about what Snyder brings to the table that really makes everything pop and it really makes everything go.
Honestly,
You know?
I think, and I didn't know this going in, but I think like looking back at how he does his movies, he storyboards everything. And he every scene and every shot almost, he storyboards it. That's why he's a visionary director because he sees it before it happens. A lot of directors get on the day of and they figure it out then. They're like, we got this scene and this scene to shoot. All right, let's throw it together. No, Zach knows exactly what he wants and he shoots it to be what he thinks is going to look awesome. And that's why I think
I
it's
remember
consistent.
the description on, I think it was on the Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice, the synopsis or whatever. Like it said something like at the end it had the synopsis, and then at the end it said the stuff that DC dreams are made of. And I thought that was like the perfect way to describe Batman v Superman. It's like it's so larger than life. It's so big. It's so big
and weighted. There's real world consequences and weights where you almost can believe that it could happen in modern society like now. You know, how would we react to something like that? How would people react? How would the city react? How would the government react?
But
in order
to get there, you have to be a real fan of the source material. And that's what I think makes Zach unique is not only he's skilled, but he's a big fan of actually comic books.
Like most comic book directors, they'll once they get the job, they'll probably dive into a couple comics or read a run of comics and study that. But Zach doesn't just read that; he's into the comics. Definitely, that's already kind of like his background. What he does deeper is he goes into everything. You know, you hear him talk about how he views Flash's Speed Force. You see how he discusses how boom tubes work and how things. You know, he brings in Greek mythology. Everything's so much deeper with the guy. He doesn't just view it on one surface layer.
You know what's crazy about that too is like a lot of people they love Nolan's Batman trilogy, which I love too, but they think that that's more realism than Zach's realism. But what Zach does is he brings in realism, but while also being faithful to the comics, which is very hard.
Yeah.
And Nolan, he kind of deviated like really far from the comics. And people think that, oh no, Nolan is more realistic because they think that just because Superman can fly, that means that automatically that, oh, it's not realistic anymore. But it's still fantasy. It's just like realism.
Yeah, there's like a weird switch in people's brains where if they see a guy, like you can do Batman in a realism way, but when you put superpowers in it for some reason, I mean, they ignore a lot of Batman's superpowers. Like he's super rich, which is a fantasy, and then somehow, I mean, he always gets out of everything. And Dark Knight Rises, he inexplicably gets back to the city with no mode of transportation or anything. And so, like, they ignore a lot of that stuff for Batman just because they want to. But for these other characters, he's for some reason there's not enough cool factor for some people that they can't turn their brain off or whatever. I think it's a lot of like just social.
You mean like with Superman?
Yeah, Superman, Wonder Woman, Green Lantern, Flash, like anybody who has like superpowers. A lot of the hardcore Batman fans who think like, oh man, it has to be super gritty and real and whatever. And those are the same people who went to go see the Batman and loved it.
Right,
like
and the problem with that is, Nolan, he did a great job doing the gritty, realistic thing, but the comic books were so much more than just that. There are comic books that focus on that, but there's a lot of comic books that focus on the fantasy aspect, the superhero power aspect, and that's what Snyder does best. He balances it out so well with a little bit of fantasy and real world stuff, and he makes it
That's the
totally
thing.
believable.
Well,
You know,
I
With
mean,
Nolan,
you guys
you're
were
not
saying,
really getting DC. With Snyder, you are. You're really
exactly.
getting DC.
With
well, you
Nolan,
guys
you're
were
getting
saying I was,
Batman. That's it.
you guys are saying I was being sarcastic, but like he makes the movies a lot more epic. Like you go into the film, like you care about what's going to happen in the next one. Like you see it as a bigger story, and it's still film contained in itself. Like you can still watch it in its own thing, but it's building up to this bigger thing. I feel like a lot of the films, I mean, Hamadaverse for sure, they were like purposely trying not to be epic, which is the most ridiculous thing, but whatever. Like that's what they didn't want the films to be grander than anything. They wanted to keep them so contained. But like you still feel that show with like Disney. Like I have no idea what the fuck they're building up to, and you know that it's not gonna have any actual weight to it. Like the people that are gonna leave and the people that will die depend on like, you know, their contracts. It doesn't like that's all. That's all that.
Well,
Like if they would keep going if it wasn't for that.
Yeah,
So.
it's because it's like for some reason it's cool to not be epic, which I don't understand that mentality.
No, it's this new. They're like the thing with this. The thing with the MCU and Disney is they're embarrassed to be geeks and nerds. They don't embrace it. They're like embarrassed about it. They make snarky comments about it. They laugh about it. But the thing with DC is like Snyder embraced it. He didn't find it as a joke. He's not embarrassed by it. He goes full on deep into like all the special powers and what they mean and what it means in the bigger picture. It's a world building. There's no shame in it with Snyder.
You know,
Yeah, he sees like the
shit.
cool shit.
Nasco is saying shit, and I kind of want to say like amen, and then I'm like, no, I'm in church. Like, what am I? Nasco's like talking. I'm like thinking, amen, bro, amen, yeah.
Amen. You can say that. Amen, bro.
Dude, that's what I'm always a fan of is a good solid world building with continuity. Like that's epic right there. Like Marvel started off with a little bit of that, but then they just went off course and got a bunch of directors who were embarrassed of the comic books and the names and the special powers. They're so embarrassed by it. They got to make jokes about everything just so everyone can have a little chuckle about it and be like, oh, it's okay to watch Marvel movies because we're all joking about it. We're not taking it that serious. But that's a totally different thing with Snyder, man. Snyder doesn't care about what you think. He loves it and he embraces it, and that's the difference. That's why I respect the DC world building under Snyder so much more than whatever. I mean, I fell off Marvel by first phase, you know, like I didn't care anymore. I mean, I'll watch it once in a while just to kill time, but like I don't even watch it in order. I barely know what's going on anymore.
Yeah, I feel you on that. Zach definitely puts like a lot of himself in his movies and a lot of just like human heart into the characters. So you don't just find them relatable, and you don't just see them as the DC characters that you've grown up with, but they're also just like human in and of themselves. So I think that's a cool thing he does. And he's really skilled in a lot of aspects, and I think they all kind of come together to bring this, like you're saying, a super epic movie, Gio. But I want to ask, Zaslav said he wants to bring things back to theatrical, meaning he wants things to be blockbusters. He wants that epicness back. So if he doesn't bring Zach back, who the hell is he gonna bring back? Like I don't know what other directors there are out there.
Yeah, who's he gonna bring in to do this? Like,
Yeah, who's gonna run his DC plan, and then who's gonna be able to direct epic movies?
I think
There are
it's an
epic
interesting question
directors.
because I think one key thing that you have to realize here is that Zach is one of the very few directors, because of just how visionary he is, that he's able to not only be the director of his films, but act as that sort of lending hand to extend that universe. If you see the films that were true Snyderverse films, like they all felt together. Like they were creating a universe that like felt lived in. Like my favorite thing about Suicide Squad, and I know it was like fucking torn up to bits, but like you still got it in the movie, was that there's this scene, I think it's like when Batman shows up with what's her face at the end, and it just feels like, fuck, I got lost in this, but basically like they make all these comments that like it feels like the movie like things continued happening after Man of Steel, and things continued happening after BVS and stuff like that, and like you're watching the effects of it, and you didn't need to see it in the movie. This is just sort of like an adjacent thing that's happening, and that I don't really feel that anywhere else. Like they do it in jokes in the MCU, so you lose the weight of it. Like you don't actually feel like it's connected. Like it feels forced if somebody's like joking about something. So I think that's like I don't know who can, as a director, do that.
I agree,
And
and
at the same
I
time.
think the Suicide Squad is kind of in a unique position where it was placed. It was placed right after BVS, where Superman is dead. So there's this like great moment in Suicide Squad where you not only get a different look at the DC universe, but you get the look at the DC universe when Superman is dead, and you see the effects of that. And I think that's a really important part because in the comics, that was like a huge deal. When Superman died, they had like a bunch of issues where they had a funeral for him and shit, and there was like people trying to take up the mantle and all this shit, and you got to see another side of the Superman comics themselves. But you're right in that it feels so lived in, and I think they placed it really well in the franchise in terms of time wise, I guess. Was there? Did I interrupt you? Was there something else that you were going to talk about?
Oh no,
Or
no, that was
I felt lived in.
yeah, no, I was over. I just don't know who, like, what director. I don't know of a director that could do that. Like, can do that in their own film, but work with other people well enough to have that extend beyond this film. Because obviously, like, one director is not going to be able to do all the characters within DC. If like they really want to create this like universe, right? They have to have multiple directors doing multiple movies. And I mean, obviously, that was the problem with the Hamadaverse. They purposely didn't want to connect the films, and they would like do it in the most fucking bullshit ways, right? So it didn't feel like valid. Yeah.
You know what I hated about when Snyder was directing Man of Steel and BVS and he's doing Justice League. What I hated when I saw what the bloggers used to write about was Snyder would have to compromise and this was his sandbox, but he would allow other people to come and do their thing. What I really think they need to do right now is they tried that and it messed up what Snyder wanted to do. What they need to do now is Snyder should be in charge. The new directors coming in should play in his sandbox and follow his guidelines and rules instead of doing their own
Zach
thing
doesn't
anymore.
play like that.
I know he doesn't, but that's why you need you need the Kevin Feige guy, whoever it is for DC, to come in
Right. I think
and play the bad guy for that. Because Zach's too much of a good guy. He's too nice. You need a yin
I think
and
you have
yang.
to think of Zach not being in this picture. Like who else would do it? Because realistically, like this needs to be launched yesterday, and Zach's busy. So whoever they're reaching out to, they need to get them now, and they need to get them all in on whatever they're doing, not like doing multiple things. So I think you have to look outside of the picture of Zach.
Yeah, you need the whoever runs DC Films is gonna have to be pretty strict and cutthroat and be really a believer in Zach's vision and tone and what he was going for. And it's probably just gonna be some exec that we never heard of, but whoever it is, if they have those two qualities, then I'm good with that.
They should get Vin Diesel, man. I love those Fast and Furious.
Boy.
Vin Diesel
who's
running
Vin Diesel
DC,
gonna play?
and then
Vin Diesel is Darkseid.
Yeah.
No. I always wanted Daniel Craig to be Darkseid.
Vin Diesel and The Rock got beef, right? So they're gonna have a good time figuring that out.
Daniel Craig would be an interesting Darkseid. I resaw all those James Bond movies. They're really good.
Vin Diesel's gonna be the Hamadaverse Darkseid.
This is giving me depression. I can't imagine this. Oh my god.
You guys watch The Boys?
Yeah.
Yeah, there was like, I don't know, earlier we were talking about something like that, but there was like a scene where Homelander flies to the roof because there's this like young girl that wants to commit suicide. And
I remember that.
It was kind of like it was like a dark homage to All-Star Superman when that girl wants to commit suicide, she wants to like jump, and she's like
totally.
She's like off her meds or something, and he's like, oh, he was like, your doctor, Superman tells her like, your doctor he really literally like, I don't know, something happened, couldn't make the appointment, and then he saves her. But then in like this version, like Homelander's like, nah, just jump. Like,
I think you should do it.
He's like, yeah, I think you should do it. Like, just jump.
You're not asking anymore.
And like,
jump.
what? Yeah.
You know who I
just,
think?
Like, pushes her off, and what I'm thinking is like, Like, is that what people think is cool? Like, do people think that, like, oh, that's so, like, do people think that's sophisticated story writing, like, because it's cynical and because it's like, oh, that's how it would be in real life? Like,
Well,
we're talking about realism and all that shit.
Andy,
You know
think
who I
about
think?
think
You know,
about the
really quick.
reception. Hold on, Gio. Hold on. Andy, think about the reception that Zach's movies got from the general audience. Like when the
Yeah.
Martha scene happened, there was no intellectual debate. It was just memes. So when you're asking, do people think that's cool? I
They
think,
do.
yeah. I think
Yeah.
Zach's movies are way too smart for the average moviegoer, unfortunately. And I'm not trying to say like we're smart people. I mean, I guess we are, but the fact that nobody got the Martha joke, or at least the mainstream was allowed to be brainwashed by the Martha memes instead of seeing how it was super obvious. And even in that shot, you see him flashing back and he's got PTSD and shit. Like,
Yeah.
don't overestimate the audience's
a-
intelligence. So
A
yeah,
generation of like Beavis
I
and
think they
Butthead
confuse
watching that.
Yeah,
cynical
because that's what I like.
smart.
What I like about The Boys the most is the cast. All the actors on that show are badass. Like, I love all the actors that are on that show. Like, especially the girl that was on Suicide Squad, Karen something, whatever. But
Oh yeah, she's hot.
yeah, Gio knows. Gio
Of
knows.
course.
But that to me, that's not like sophisticated story writing. Like, just because that's just cheap and that's cynical, and it's like it's just shock value garbage to me.
Yeah, exactly.
It's shock
That's
value.
what The Boys
Absolutely.
is. It's 100% shock value. And then the MCU is just McDonald's dollar menu.
Yeah, I feel like there's like those two sides where it's either MCU, McDonald's, or just like real shock value superhero shit like The Boys.
The entire generation of MCU fans has made it a thing where it's not cool to be like taking things seriously. You know, everything you gotta laugh it off and joke about it and just it's, I got friends who are huge MCU fans and they fit that stereotype so much. Like they were kind of, you know, they dealt with bullies when they were growing up and they like now that they're adults they got kind of like that edge to them where they can kind of laugh at the people that they considered cool in high school. And so it's like when you see like Snyder take a deep appreciation to the human anatomy or making things look cool, slow down and take a real passion into like making things look epic, like it's like a joke to them. They get to joke about it, like, oh, you're like the jocks back then, and now, you know, like they made an entire generation just unable to appreciate something serious, you know.
I feel like this is what it is to get old. You're like looking at the kids and you're like, why don't you like the shit that I like? Like my shit is cool. Why don't you like my shit?
No,
And
man, I
they're
think the
just
Gen
like, it's not cool
the
anymore,
Gen
old
Z
man.
kids, I think the Gen Z kids are a little bit more understanding of some shit, bro. I think it's
I
just
hope
like
so.
I think it's the millennials that are like real fucking.
I don't think so, man. I don't think they have the attention span to see a movie that like
They're
goes
the
beyond
TikTok
the
generation.
film. Yeah,
Hot take. I don't think any kids watch movies anymore.
right.
I'm being serious. I
That's
think all
right,
kids
dude.
just watch YouTube and TikTok, bro. That's why movie
Yeah.
stars aren't a thing.
Yeah, that's
YouTubers are a
why.
thing
Honestly,
now. Like I'm
that's
being
why.
serious.
You're not
I
even
think that's why a
far
lot
off.
of the streaming platforms are like not doing well. Like if besides all the bullshit with HBO, like
The-
most of the content on HBO Max is like they have a great selection of films. Like if I didn't have access to films the way I do, and I wanted a streaming platform that just had a lot of movies on it, like just a lot of movies, right? I would get HBO Max just for that. But like I don't think the kids don't give a fuck. Like they maybe watch like the Harry Potter like one time and they watch it in like 18 viewings. like they
Dude,
can't sit through a whole
So that
movie.
leaves the question: how are they gonna market shit? You know, like how are they gonna market all this stuff?
I mean,
mean-
truthfully,
Yeah,
I
know.
think personally, if like going based off what everyone was saying before, I think when Oscar was talking about this, but like I was just basically thinking like people I know that are into the MCU currently and stuff are like, you know, people like older than you'd think, right? And for the same reason too, is like I had the conversation with one friend of mine one time about like why he loves that opposed to something like what Zach does, right? And like he's like, oh, life is just all too depressing, and I just need jokes and stuff, right?
Mhm.
And that's the way he views it. And he's like 30, So I think that a lot of like the marketing and stuff that they would have to do for these people is just the people that they've been doing it for, like these people that are 30 and stuff. Because I don't know if DC realized it yet, but I think Marvel realized that their audience is, people older, man. It's a lot of, especially like when I work at these conventions and stuff, man, a lot of these people with these like, these MCU joke fandom shirts and shit come up to my booth, man, and they're all like 40-year-old guys. Like,
That's true.
like,
Yeah, I don't know if it's really an age thing. I kind of want to say it's probably not really an age. I think Marvel was able to tap into their audience, and they have an audience, and they've fed them and provided for them. DC has an audience too. They just haven't fed them and provided for them. So I think fans who like the more serious, they're out there. They just haven't had the opportunity to support it.
Yeah.
Like DC never was able to take off the plane. Just pull the wheels in, kind of left the land up, and then Justice League shot it down. The plane never got to take off and fly. And so DC content has never had a true chance. And look at Nolan's trilogy. Were they not beloved? That Batman trilogy, was it not beloved? It has a chance. There's an audience for it. It's just that audience just hasn't been fed.
Like, okay, I remember I took my nephew and my niece. I missed a bunch of Marvel movies before Infinity War, but I took my nephew and my niece to go see Infinity War, and they were very young at the time. And I remember, like, after the movie ended, it was like a bunch of people, my nephew and my niece's age, that were like just like freaking out, chit chatting with each other, like, what do you think is gonna happen next? Blah, 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 blah. Like they were just freaking out, like after Infinity War ended. And I remember thinking, like, dude, Marvel did a good job getting this age group really, really into the MCU. And if DC would have just stuck to their own shit, they would have been able to like have their own group. Like I remember when Suicide Squad came out, all those people, I remember I went to go see Suicide Squad, and all those people that you would see at a Fast and Furious audience, all those people were like Suicide Squad was packed, bro. The first one,
Suicide Squad hit big, and they DC totally slept on this audience. It hit big with like the Hot Topic kids.
Yeah,
like they were very into it, and
a lot of Latinos.
That's like
a lot of like
that represents like a big age group.
I'm sorry, Latinx people. It
Shut up, bro. Mute him.
Ooh.
Cut that out.
It hit really well with the Latinx community.
Stop insulting my language.
Yeah, but like I think you guys are onto something, that it's like age groups, and obviously there's demographics in DC. I think the Hamadaverse was trying to go for more of the kids, and I guess the Latinx, whatever. But Snyder's movies were always more.
No,
I guess they were kind of pretentious, but they seemed more intellectual to me, and like almost for a little bit more mature age group, where you don't honestly. If I was like a kid, I don't know how much I would have enjoyed like BVS or something like that. But as an adult,
yeah, for sure. Like BVS, if I saw that when I was younger, I feel like I totally would have it definitely would not have hit me the way it hit me.
I would have fucking
even 5 years younger.
Exactly.
When I was a kid, I would be laid up at night, and then I'd watch like Sopranos, and it was all fucking full of existential dread and crazy shit. And I love that shit, even though I didn't understand it. I feel like I would have done the same shit with BVS. I feel like with BVS, I would have been like, wow, this is amazing.
The thing with BVS is it doesn't give you a good versus bad. It's not a clear cut thing for children, And if I was a kid watching that, you're like,
I think that's why
fighting Superman.
That's why the fucking bloggers don't like it.
Yeah, and
they're too young to like understand.
The problem
is clear cut. Yeah.
Yeah, you watch a movie that's got a good guy and a bad guy. The movie ends, you feel good, you go to sleep. you watch a movie where the Batman's fighting Superman, you're troubled by it. You go to bed and you're thinking about it for days. You're wondering what the heck happened. You're thinking about nonstop, and that's the difference.
I don't
You know,
think
that's
I've
what
thought
makes it.
about anything in my life more than I've thought about BVS. I can't think of like one other thing that I've thought about in my life more than I thought about BVS.
I want
Or,
that.
like,
I want that on my
not just the
Tuesday.
movie, not just the movie. Like, I'm not just capping because it's like, oh yeah, like we like the
I-
movie, but because we were part of like the fucking thing, so like I had to like talk about BVS for so
there's-
long. So it's like I don't think I've ever thought about any movie more than I've ever thought.
Even
I'm
before,
I'm glad he changed
before I
the
was in
movie because
movement, I thought about
Yeah, I'm
that.
glad I can still enjoy the movie. I'm glad. Yeah, I'm glad I can still like go back and like enjoy the shit out of the movie. Because like to be exposed to anything for that long, like you inevitably like get tired of it. But
That movie's hypnotic, bro.
yeah,
I still love that
Yeah,
movie
for
way
sure.
more than Snyder Cut. I mean, BVS is still number one for me.
I go. I
I
go
think I
back
might
and
have to
watch
agree with that, to be
BBS,
honest.
and I end up saying the same thing. Yeah.
Have you
It
ever
just-
watched it? Have you ever watched it like? Oh, never mind.
Yes. Yes. And it's like
Fucking
it gives you
amazing, bro.
anxiety, and it like, and you like go through shit, and it's like
Yeah.
3 hours.
Yeah, you
Ev-
go through it. Yes, Gio's the fucking man. He knows what the fuck I'm talking about, bro.
Journey.
And then,
That movie
when,
is
like, especially in the beginning, the fucking when the buildings are collapsing and there's all this,
man.
there's all this
Dude,
smoke.
the
And then
courtroom blows up.
You can feel the
You're-
smoke in your chest, bro.
When the courtroom blows up and the edible just hit, dude, it's tough. And tough scene to make it through. Just like, what the fuck just happened? I know what's gonna happen.
It's so scary. It's so scary, and people don't get it.
And I just sit there at the end too. I'm like, what the fuck does he mean the bell's wrong? What does he mean? You're missing out. Man. You
Man.
gotta really
Dude,
watch. That's what I'm saying.
Dude, that's crazy. Gio loves BVS more than he loves Korean Girl. That's blowing my
That's
mind
a
right
fact.
now.
I will. Yeah,
Wait, hold
Blow
on.
my
I
mind.
think
That's
was
fact.
Frank gonna say something? Frank, were you gonna say something?
Sorry, Frank.
No, I was just gonna say I agree with Nas when he said like that he likes it more than the Snyder Cut, even because for me, I mean, BVS I revisit any mood I'm in, literally any mood, you know, and it always seems to make it even better, you know. Like there's times I had a real shit day, throw on some BVS, it's like instant therapy right there.
Yeah.
There you go.
I haven't watched it in a while. I haven't watched BBS
Dude,
in a very long
I
while.
can't. Sometimes I'll turn it on just because I want to watch the scene. But every time I do that, I don't stop. You just watch the whole thing. Sometimes I just want to watch the Batman warehouse
Yeah.
scene, and it just goes from there, and I just can't stop.
Yeah, the warehouse scene for sure. I mean, you're at the end there, but yeah, no, I feel you, man. Like I've definitely like turned it on to like fucking to see 2 seconds of it, and you end up watching the whole movie. Like it just goes by so quick.
Like even now, if I want to do, sometimes I'll do like a short little edit or something. Even now, I always go back to BVS instead of the Snyder Cut. Like I enjoy stuff from the Snyder Cut. Like I'm a big fan of Steppenwolf and what he did with him there. But and it's a great movie. But like you guys are saying, BVS, that's what got me into this. That's my big draw. Every time I think back on that movie. That was the shit. And I remember seeing that in theaters the first time, and I was blown away, and it was the theatrical cut. And I was still like, that was the best superhero movie I've ever seen in my life. And then we get the Ultimate Edition. I'm like, fuck,
Yeah.
this is awesome.
I remember I saw BVS next to Nosco at SnyderCon. That was the best experience of watching BVS ever, bro.
Dude,
And
Snyder
then
was 3 rows
when Wonder
in
Woman
front of us,
comes,
man.
when Wonder Woman comes and she saves, well, from beginning to end, it's fucking great. Everyone's applauding every goddamn scene. But
Screaming.
when she comes and she saves Bruce, she saves Batman. Like everybody starts fucking cheering, and I remember thinking, bro, that's what I wanted to do the first time
Man.
that I saw that happen. I wanted to cheer, but like no one in the audience gave a shit.
Exactly.
And it was so great to hear everyone cheer at that moment.
Yeah, that was back
my
when
audience.
fandom was.
What were you gonna say?
What, Frank?
No, I was just gonna say real quickly that like my audience, I'm not even joking. My audience I went to BVS when it came out. it was playing all night for like 24 hours at the one theater that I was at, right? And like I went at like maybe 4 or 5 in the morning because I could not get a ticket. Dude, my audience was live, bro. Like they were cheering, man. Like no joke. Like that's why when I walked out of that, because at that point those bad reviews were out, I was like, I'm being punked. I swear to God.
Yeah, for sure.
That's
I
badass,
still,
Frank. That's really badass.
to this day, I still think that like I don't know, like the biggest fucking crime that ever happened is that somehow that movie got sold as like not a hit. It made $875 million. Like fucking people watched the shit out of that movie. What are you talking about? And it's
It
like,
was Rotten
sure,
Tomatoes.
at the same time, Marvel's doing better, but it's like, I don't know, bad analogy here, but it's like saying that the Mets are a bad team right now. Like, like, or no, actually, like, they're fucking better than the Yankees right now. But like, you know, it's just if something's
No one watches
slightly
baseball,
worse.
Gio.
All right, what I'm trying to say is that like if something's slightly worse than whatever is doing the most epic thing in the world right now, that doesn't mean that it's bad. Like it's you're comparing it to something that's doing something that was unprecedented at that point. So like, and it wasn't that far off. Like it was off of $1 billion by like 100 million. It wasn't that bad. Like it wasn't that far off.
I
And
just
it
wanna
probably
say-
happened because of the bloggers fucking shitting on the movie. Like it's
How
not
many
people
movies have
going to
done
see
way
it.
worse and they still get sequels?
Well, the Batman was about to get a sequel.
Yeah, the
did
Batman.
worse.
How much did the Batman make again?
Less than BVS.
700 and something.
Yeah.
It didn't break
Did it make it
800.
to 700?
I didn't even
No.
think it broke 700. But
I
I,
didn't
just
think
want to
it was
say that exactly what Andy was saying about the SnyderCon night when BVS played. That was like a therapeutic moment, not only for Zach but for like all of his fans in the room to finally hear the appreciation that like the fans get it. Because like up until that point, the only thing we'd ever heard about BVS online was that it sucked, right? Like everyone was just shitting on it all the time, and then to be in that room when people were fucking screaming their heads off, they're jumping up and down, like clapping their hands and shit. Like that was an unreal moment, and that
Batman,
happened throughout the whole movie. I remember at one point I was like, God damn, I'm a little bit tired of this, but then it kept going. I was like, okay, it's pretty good. I'll never.
Yeah, because at
Never had
that
this
point,
again.
like fake or not, like there's definitely probably people in that room that were like, you know, whatever. But you did have a room full of people that were fans of that shit, like hardcore fans of that shit. Like, you know, like
I remember
you just yeah.
I told Andy in line, I was like, this is trippy for me because like the entire time, like you like liking BBS, liking Snyder, DC films was almost like embarrassing. Like everyone around you usually hates it. To stand in line with a bunch of people who love it, it's like the trippiest thing. I remember just standing in line at the time. Everyone's talking about it, everyone's loving Snyder stuff, and it's like this is like so weird, you know. I think every one of us have, in our group of friends, most people are against it, most people don't like it. So it's like we're all like secret fans of Snyder DC.
It was a
I
very
actually don't.
weird
At this
experience.
At this point, I haven't come across many people that don't like the movie. Because at this point, everybody that didn't like the movie because Rotten Tomatoes didn't like the movie, they forgot, and now they either don't have an opinion of the movie, or people who actually saw it are like, no, it's a good movie because it is. So
Gio, you keep bringing this back to Rotten Tomatoes. We're just trying to talk about SnyderCon, okay? We're just trying to say how awesome it was, okay?
I remember
I mean, to
Nobody
be
some
honest
guy
with
wants to
you,
talk about these critics that we've had to fight for the last 5 years, all right?
bro.
I want to start a feud, man.
When
That's how
the
we
dirt-
get famous.
when the
No,
dirt
fuck
rises
those
at the end of-
feuds. I just want to live in the past. Live with the SnyderCon. That was a fucking amazing night.
When the dirt
Yeah,
rises
refill my
at the
beer.
end of BVS,
Yeah, man.
some dude yelled like, "We rise with Zack Snyder" or something. And I was like, "Damn, bro!" Like, and that I remember that ending because your Ben was saying how he was kind of getting tired of him, but then he said that and he totally redeemed himself because I was like, "Bro," I was like, "Oh, yes."
But he said that, and at the time, I was like, okay, yeah, funny. But then we actually did.
Yeah, man.
And, like, after SnyderCon, shit changed in a big way.
Like the
Like, people
fandom was
got
much
to
more
get...
innocent at the time.
Yeah, well, people got to get close to Zach
You go.
at SnyderCon. I'm not talking about, like, the bullshit in the fandom. I'm just talking about like his actual real fans got to get close to him, and then people online saw that, and it fired people up. Like Project Comic-Con started up, and then we demolished Comic-Con 2019. We took it over, and we did that with New York Comic-Con too. And it's just like,
Fuck yeah.
we were on a roll for a while, for a good 6 months there after SnyderCon. That really got us going. And I know there was Snyder campaign stuff before, but
a lot of info dropped. We found out Ray Porter was Darkseid at SnyderCon. That was released at the time.
Yeah.
There was rumors that Desaad was in it. That was at the time. I remember that.
Yeah, dude. And like everyone there, I remember there was so much tension in that room about the Snyder Cut, because everyone, at least when I went there, I was like, oh shit, this is Zack Snyder's director's cut event. Like if he's gonna talk about the Snyder Cut anywhere, it's gonna be here, right? So I just had to be there. And then the previous 2 nights, he only like barely hinted at it. Like he made a joke one time on the Watchmen panel saying, yeah, man, this movie almost got shelved. Can you imagine that? Just a movie that was completely finished and it just got shelved for forever, like a crazy big blockbuster. And everyone in the room was like, oh my God, what is he doing? And then somebody blurted it out at the BVS panel saying, release the Snyder Cut or whatever. And finally, we got that lady, that one girl who was asking about Dave Ayer's Suicide Squad and how Steppenwolf was supposed to be in it or something. And then he started talking.
I missed the last minute. I stepped out for a bit, but go ahead.
Wait, I want to also interrupt Ben.
Oh my God.
Sorry, man. I didn't mean to interrupt you, bro.
Wait, so like, how crazy was it that it took so fucking long for somebody to ask about the Snyder Cut?
Dude, they didn't even ask about it during the Q&A. During the
Some dude
Q&A,
asked
everyone.
about Spider-Man.
Oh, I think people were just really. I think people were very.
Wait, didn't they finally sneak in I thought they sneak in a question at the end of the Q&A for BBS?
No, Gio, it was so hard to even get the microphone. So they were like walking around with the microphone, and the people who worked there had like picked favorites out of the audience.
No, they chose the girls. They literally said, we're gonna get the girls.
It was a sausage fest, and they only chose girls.
Yeah.
No, you remember when the lady was like, we heard a lot from the boys. Let's hear from some girls.
No, that lady Genevieve got like 7 questions.
Yeah, she got like 3 or 4, dude.
God.
And one of the questions was like, how is it to work with your wife to be on a team?
Another one was like, thank you for casting a Japanese girl as Grace or whatever. I was like, what? We're here at Zack Snyder's director's cut event. He's got a movie.
Wait, hold on. Why'd you?
What are you guys doing?
You're talking about Mercy.
We were following.
Yeah, Mercy.
Mercy.
We were following the little fucking like stream, and we were like fucking hoping that this thing was working, and like it wasn't working that great. And like us people at home, we were just like, what the fuck? They're not gonna say anything. They're not gonna ask.
Dude, I remember the last question. You guys remember the last question? I remember like it was yesterday. The guy, there was the last question, and they're like, this is the last one. So they chose the guy, and I'm like, here you go. Ask the question or shut up, you know. The guy stands up and he asks about Ray Fisher's football uniform, something about the costuming. And I almost like screamed a high-pitched scream, like, what the hell are you doing, dude? That was the last
Actually, though, to defend
I remember.
To defend the honor of well, I don't want to sound like a white knight, but to defend women, it was actually a girl that asked, what the fuck?
Oh, was it a girl?
It was a girl that asked. Remember, she was like trying to like get to the point. And
while you were out, Andy, I was talking about how the girl stood up and asked about the David Ayer cut of Suicide Squad and how it had Steppenwolf in it. But you missed that part.
All right.
Well, actually,
she. And I remember what was funny about that though was that she was like taking forever to get to the point.
Yeah.
And some fucking dick in the audience yelled, "The ask, Lois."
Did he really?
That was kind of clever. I thought that was kind of clever.
That is pretty clever.
Wait, so I don't know. Did you guys? Okay, so now I remember it, right? So yeah, nobody asked in the Q&A, but somebody finally asked because everybody watching it at home, we had to watch the fucking live stream, and then we heard that your guys' signing got cut short because something went wrong or whatever. and we're like, oh fuck, they're not even gonna be like people that were like, I guess, afraid of talking during the stream are not gonna be able to ask him then when he goes to do the signing. But somebody finally did ask him that night, and I have the video because I used to use it all the time for like events and stuff. But like, did you guys know that somebody did ask, like being in the event? Because because like people tweeted it right away, and we were like, "Fuck!" Finally, that's
So,
why I remember it.
No, I didn't know until after.
so I kind of, because Will Rowlands was two in front of us, right, Andy? I kind of remember Will was kind of near us, so I kind of saw him asking something, but I didn't really know. I was actually looking for his tweet because I was actually walking away already. So I saw him talking about it with Snyder, and I think Will posted some videos of him asking Snyder or something
Was
like
it
that.
Will? I gotta
Will
find the
Rowlands
video.
definitely asked.
I know he
Snyder.
asked, but I don't know if the guy in the video was Will.
No, the video wasn't Will. The
Yeah.
video wasn't Will, but the actual Will typed out what he asked him and what he answered.
Yeah, and that's when Will came, like that's when Will got like quote unquote famous. Because I remember that. Because then he started doing like he started doing like the flower events and all that shit.
You're right.
That was right after that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Will's a beast, man. He did a lot too. Good guy.
I still remember the main thing I remember from that night. Whenever he was on stage, the moderator guy was trying to get him to not spill the beans about any of his Justice League plot, and we were like, "Dude, this is what we flew here for."
Exactly,
like some dude flew from Malaysia or whatever, like from the Philippines.
Singapore.
Singapore, exactly.
Matt, I think Matt.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Matt. And like the moderator was trying to get him to shut up, and that's when Zach was finally like, he told us about Darkseid, and he was like, yeah, he's gotta tell Lois before he booms tubes in the back cave to murder Lois or something. And I was like,
what?
He also told you guys about how like time travel worked in his universe.
Yeah.
That's the night we found that out.
That was my favorite part of the stuff that he reeled. That was my favorite part. It just shows how deeply he thought about things, and considered things.
Dope.
That's also when we got the bad news that even with the Snyder Cut, we never actually did see the Snyder Cut because that was never filmed. Well, the original script that was written was never filmed.
Yeah.
They filmed the rewrite. Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, imagine. So what I was gonna say, like a long ass time ago, was that who I do think could probably like do it instead of thinking of like a director, or showrunner, or even a producer to lead a connected universe. I wonder if like they can reach out to a writer and like imagine if
what if they got Jeff Johns?
No, stop. Chris Terrio, screenwriters. Imagine if they got like Chris Terrio or like Jonathan Nolan to like write out how a universe works and then let them directors do their own thing.
Look, I'd be good.
Okay, you know what made Batman Begins so much? Like I love The Dark Knight Rises, and I love The Dark Knight, but you know what made Batman Begins so much better than all two of those movies? Was David S. Goyer. And I'm sorry, I don't know what the popular fucking vote is on that guy. I love David S. Goyer.
I like Goyer. I feel like Goyer doesn't write in a way that appeals to modern audiences.
Who gives a fuck about modern audiences?
They care because it's the whole that they're rebooting.
Nothing we like appeals to modern audiences.
We can make them like what they know, what they don't know.
Well, I'm trying to answer the question like in a realistic way. Like who do you think they would actually hire?
Like bro,
I think there's a chance.
They're not gonna hire the same guy who rebooted the last universe.
People just think they like The Boys because it has Karen, whatever her last name is.
She's hot.
Like people think they like The Boys. They think they like all this shit because oh my god, bro, it's so fucking whatever. But they don't know people don't know what they like.
Yeah. I know what I like. I like this show on Netflix.
Gio, shut the fuck
up. You do because you're a man of taste.
Yeah.
But the majority of people are not like that.
In my mind, Andy, I just saw our meme of me holding the beer, and I'm holding the beer right now. This is awesome.
You guys need when next time you guys ever do hang out, you gotta recreate that shot.
Yes. Oh, we have to make a real version of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, when we hanging out, man. Let's all meet up in Texas. That's what I was saying. Halfway. Come on.
You know, I had a dream like the other night. I can't remember what the fuck happened.
It was revealed to me in a dream.
I had a dream
Dreaming.
that I was like in New York for some reason, and then like I was like eating at this restaurant that was all shitty, and this
I wouldn't take you there.
this foreign dude was like, "Oh, you know, you can just." I was like, "I can't find a hotel," and he was like, "Oh, well, I have this fucking tool shed that you can just like sleep in."
Sounds like a horror movie.
Yeah, it was so scary. And then
Well, first of all,
thinking like, dude, where the fuck is Gio when I need him?
yeah, Andy, if you were,
And then hold on, and then Gio called me and he was like, "Bro, where you at?" And I was like, "I don't know, bro.
I'm about to die.
I'm stranded."
This guy.
And he was like, "You're gonna get AIDS, and if you fucking sleep." He was like, "You're gonna die of syphilis if you fucking like sleep in that sewer." And I was like, "God damn, bro, I don't know what to do." So I think this is a sign that we all need to fucking take a trip to fucking New York City.
Listen, I think that's a sign that we need to not take a trip to New York City.
Yeah, that's what I was
Jesus.
thinking. The hell kind of place
Well,
we going to?
Ben, can you do me a favor?
Uh,
Can you
It
just
depends.
edit out everything I just said right now?
Nope. I'm renaming this podcast to Andy's
Andy's Dream.
Thoughts.
Andy's Dream.
in New York.
Oh no, title of it, Andy Had a Dream.
This is you guys missed it. This is what it was like riding with Andy. He would just say like a random story that doesn't relate to anything we were talking about. But at the beginning of the story, he pretends like it was about to. Like, so you're waiting until the end of the story because you think somehow it's gonna tie into what you were just talking about, but no.
Because it does.
No, it
It
doesn't.
does, but I just forget halfway through how it ties into it.
This thing started because we talked about Gio and Andy hanging out, and so Andy went talking about his dream. That's how it started.
Andy, I had a dream that I gave COVID to Al Roker.
You gave COVID to who?
Al Roker.
What the hell are you doing with Al
Who the
Roker?
fuck is that?
You know who Al Roker is?
Gio, I think that's a New Yorker thing.
I mean,
Is
I know
he?
Al Roker.
I thought Al Roker was like on national television. All right, my bad. Maybe it is. Anyway,
Anyway,
No idea who.
in New York, and Andy, if you're in New York, just hit me up. Like,
Yeah,
you know,
I think I just had this.
did you say zip me up?
I think I
hit
just
me up.
had.
Hit me up.
I think I just had this unconscious fear of like what would happen if I got stranded in New York. Like I'd have to
Probably
depend
dangerous.
on these like underground sewer fucking studios. You know,
I don't even take the train past 9 o'clock. Like, it's dangerous out there.
and it's like, dude, like where are the good places to stay out there? You know,
New York.
Not a
New
tool
York,
shed or the
nowhere.
sewers. Did you not see
So
the
why we
Teenage
don't
No,
know
Mutant
the
it
Ninja
wasn't a
Turtles?
tool shed. It was like a fucking underground bunker.
This is
And it
when
was
we
like-
need 44.
Why are we talking about
talk
this?
shit
It's
about
not
New
even
York.
fucking real. Like,
This podcast is not going to be like cast, guys.
Like it.
Yeah, the children should not take any advice from us.
We need a disclaimer in the beginning before we start the podcast.
We are not professional teachers.
Gio, I
Hey,
saw
come on.
Nope today.
Yeah, what'd you think?
Oh, it was pretty good. If there was a metaphor in there somewhere, I didn't get it. I had no idea. But it was a pretty good movie.
There was a
just on its
metaphor?
own.
I saw it on. I saw it too high to like see if there was a metaphor as well, so I didn't see it.
Yeah, I don't know, it just seemed like a regular movie to me. I don't
Yeah,
know.
it was just cool. It was like a fun like alien movie.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah, it was
movie
good.
is it?
Nope.
Nope.
Oh,
Yeah, it was
So I
good.
didn't
movie?
even know, Ben. I didn't even know it was an alien movie. Like
Oh,
I didn't know
really?
either.
Yeah, the trailer's really boring. so
Damn
I
it, you
never
just
paid
spoiled it for
attention to it.
Nos.
Yeah.
No, it's in
alright.
the
I'm
it's in
probably
the
not watch it.
it's in the trailer. No,
Shut
it's
that.
in
He
the
hasn't
trailer.
seen that.
Okay, but well, I hadn't seen. I had seen the trailer, and I had not seen that it was an alien movie. I have this thing where like, so maybe it's like a Latino like superpower, but my mom's very loud, so I'm very good at like hearing and seeing things.
Interrupting?
Not and not paying attention to anything that like I saw or heard. Like I could like look at you and like it
All right,
looks
now the show is called Geo's Random Thoughts.
but I'm not listening at all.
Yeah, no, let's go watch Nope. It's pretty good.
Gio,
Rogue One's
the last episode I heard,
Yeah.
you were talking about that new show.
The bear?
Yeah, the chef dude. I
Yeah.
just wanted to say, I fucking love that guy. The actor, his name is Jeremy Allen White. And
What else is he in?
watch him in Shameless. He was in this show called Shameless. That
Oh,
show's
somebody's telling me to watch that.
that
Damn,
show's
that would be
hilarious.
his favorite show.
It's hilarious. But that dude is my favorite character on the show.
Mm-hmm.
And I would love if that guy, not to be a dick, but I would love it if that guy was the Flash. I think he's the perfect Flash.
He's a good age too to be Barry Allen. Like that's my other thing. Like I don't like young Barry Allen. I like when Barry Allen's like a little bit older.
Like in his
Like-
early 30s.
Yeah. Like I
Yo.
like when Barry Allen's like the older Flash. Like and
Well,
then he has to like teach Wally and shit. Like it's always fun.
Before the MCU happened, I always thought Chris Evans was a good Barry Allen.
Let me pose a question for everybody.
I feel like
You,
Chris Evans is not likable though. Like I can't like I always want to punch him in the face.
Me too.
Even as Captain America.
Yeah, that's why I never fucking got into any of those movies. He could not be the representation of this beautiful country for me.
you know who I want
Bro,
to punch in
as
the
a
face is
character, Captain America is shit.
Tom Holland. I can't stand Tom Holland.
I can't sit tall
He's
either.
a piece of
But I'll give you this. In
Wait,
No Way Home,
Nasco, what were you gonna say?
Spider Child turned into Spider-Man.
was that?
That's all I had to say. Sorry. Go ahead, Nas.
No, what were you
What
gonna
was
say,
that?
Nasco?
Oh, I was going to pose a question. I was going to ask everybody, what are 5 things or less of things that you would do to the Flash if you were Zaslow's position right now to save the movie? You can't scrap it, but you can do 5 changes, 5 things or less. What would you do?
reshoot it with Zack Snyder. Make it a Flash.
I feel like that's like the biggest math equation fucking question that I wanted to stab.
I'll go first. And I'll take this super seriously. I would, so taking in the same vein that like Ben is saying, I would quote unquote reshoot. I put it through crazy reshoots. I would make it so that Ezra dies in the movie, and he gets replaced in the movie. So I keep the whole fucking multiverse shit.
No,
change
get
the ending.
Ezra out of the movie.
You can't get him out completely.
You can get him out. Just make it an actual
Realistic-
Flashpoint movie.
Realistically, yeah, but then how do you start the whole movie and you don't have the Flash in it? How is it a Flashpoint?
Just reboot DC.
Okay, so
I would
guys,
just throw that shit in the fucking
so
garbage.
realistic
for months.
answer, Nas,
I would
yeah.
flush that Flash movie.
No,
flush it.
this is a terrible question.
Realistic. Nas,
Why is it a terrible question? It's a good question.
It's not.
Just flush it. Just throw it in the fucking.
You
flush.
can't do that. That was part of the question, Andy.
Can't
He
flush
said
it.
you can't do that.
recast the Flash.
Was that part of the question?
Yes.
Part of the question is, you cannot throw it away. You can do 5 changes to it.
That's
Well, then
why
five
it was a
things are
terrible
left.
question.
What I would do is I
The
just
second
throw it
thing-
away.
The second thing I would do, Nas, so I would kill Ezra halfway through the movie. Second thing I would
Yeah.
do, I'm replacing him with Dev Patel. Here's my thinking. I really like Dev Patel, so I'd like to see Plus, he could play like a fucking like crime scientist person. Like I feel like that's a role that he could do really well, and then he could be like the superhero. Sure, he's slightly older, so I like a slightly older Barry Allen, and they're not going to be able to just replace Ezra by like a non-minority. So this is the best fucking way to do it. Replace him with the brown guy, because then then nobody can complain that they got rid of like what is he, like gay, whatever, both of them. They can't get rid of him being that, so
It's
that they
Tiger.
replace him with that. And Barry Allen's a great opportunity to do the race changing thing because his race doesn't matter in the story at all.
Yo, what the fuck? Why is that your goal? Oh my
I'm just saying
God.
because you have to do it. I'm being fucking realistic.
Oh my
I would
God.
replace it.
You-
Honestly, I would
Can't fire
I
I
would-
don't even
I
have
would-
to, and he's not even a good Barry Allen.
Yeah,
I
but
mean,
I
I
think-
can see
I
him
like
in
the
the
whole-
universe, but he's not Barry Allen.
I like the
Isn't it
whole
Barry- I
idea of
think
the
it's Barry
Supergirl. The Supergirl that she's like she's supposed to be that like version of Flashpoint Superman where he's like in that imprisoned in that government thing. I think that
Yeah.
they should keep that, and it just like this is like that version.
Yeah, I was fine with that.
That's cool, and especially with the whole like, well, no, I'm not gonna get into it, but
Her suit
that's
sucks though.
that's cool.
I was fine with that. Her suit just sucks. Like, why is her suit so bad?
Yeah, like that's kind of neat actually if you think
Look,
about it. Like
Ask yourself,
Flashpoint Superman.
would Zack
And
Snyder
also-
cast that person?
And
Probably.
also, it would upset
No.
me. It would upset me that I don't understand why they unfeminized Supergirl. Like, that was the whole thing. Like,
Yeah.
a very feminine character.
Well, that's the whole. God, you're gonna get into a political game, you know.
You
That's
got-
the whole
you got
big
Ben
thing
going.
right now, Geo.
But-
Transgenders. You gotta make it a woman, but really it's a man.
No,
But think about this though. In the Flashpoint story, the
Marvel.
Superman that gets this in the Flashpoint story, the Superman that gets like imprisoned, and by the government or whatever, like he's all like anemic looking and shit, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
it's cool that you could do like a twist on that where, like, oh, it's like now it's like a feminine version of Superman, and that's fine. Like, and then you can roll with that.
In jail. They don't do that to women in jail.
But why?
What's
If you want to fix the Flash, why are you guys like just making worse versions of the Hamadaverse? Like this doesn't
you're
make
right.
any
You're
sense.
right. You're right. Yeah, Ben's right. Ben's right.
I don't-
Ben's 100% right. But I mean, I'm
And
just talking
the actually
about like what
realistically
Nosko
answer
said.
this
Like
question.
Nosko asked, "What would you do that's cool?" And I'm just thinking about like shit that you would keep or not keep.
So
You know?
yeah, I think Frank, you got your 5. You want to have your 5?
Frank fell asleep 10 minutes ago.
Oh, you fell asleep.
Yeah, I fell asleep like an hour ago. No, I'm just kidding. No, honestly, like the thing is that I think that for me, I don't really know what I would do as far as the recasting is concerned because, like, I think that, like, I mean, obviously, I would like to choose somebody different, right? But like, the thing is that for me, I would really be focused on changing the content of the movie itself and like what it's going to do going forward because obviously I'm actually more like like with the state of the universe afterwards I think is such trash, so I think that that's kind of where I'm at, right? And like also I really do not like his suit in it. So like
Yeah, that's
I do
That's a
not
good
like
point.
his suit at all. Like I know that's something that probably hasn't. No one brought that up, but I mean the shot in that little teaser that they put of him
Yeah.
by the waterfall bothers me. I know it's pure
Oh,
CGI, but it's so bad looking. It looks
his
like
Terrible.
scrotum
a
design.
PS2 game.
Terrible.
His scrotum design. I can't stand it. Like, who said that was a pattern?
What I
Yeah.
would do, I would end the Flash movie with him dying, like Gio said, and then introduce Jeremy Allen White as the new Flash.
Is Jeremy Allen White the guy you were talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, from the Bear.
Yeah.
Look him up,
This is-
Nosko. He's fucking
I will.
perfect for that. He's
This
You
is,
should watch
uh,
the Bear, Nas. I think you would like it.
I'll give it a shot. I've seen promos for it and commercials. So my 5, I limit myself to 5 because the way I view the Flash, it's damage control. I'm doing everything I can to prevent this movie from hurting future plans, but also trying to make a little bit out of it so it's not a complete waste. So number 1, I would reshoot all Michael Keaton's scenes with Jeffrey Dean Morgan. Number 2, I would bring back Billy Crudup to replace all the scenes of the other guy.
Yeah.
Number 3, I would, similar to Geo, I'm not killing Ezra Miller off. I'm throwing him into the Speed Force, getting him lost in there, so that I don't know, we can figure it out later. So I'm not killing off Barry Allen, but then I am replacing him with Wally West, where I cast another actor to play Wally West for future renditions until I can figure out what to do with Ezra later on. So I wouldn't kill Ezra, put him on the back burner, just get him lost in the Speed Force, and then move on with Wally West, introduce Wally West to take over. And then whatever's next, we'll fix it later. That's just opening my options up.
that's
my
What the
amazing.
fuck? That was
That's
like a
amazing.
professional pitch. Like,
I was just gonna say, Nas is
Hasn't
like the
anyone
most
thought of
smartest
that?
person here.
But wouldn't that take like so much like money to do that?
It would, and you know that's definitely. I don't think it's possible right now because of the amount of money of bringing all those actors. Some of those actors like Jeffrey D. Morgan and Billy Crudup, they're not cheap, so I think it's highly unlikely. But if I was in Zasla's position, as to the amount of money is not a situation where I'm just trying to salvage this film and protect the brand, that's how I
Yeah.
would go about it. I keep my
Nas
options
low-key
open, but
works on
saving it.
on scripts.
Dude, I'm
But
telling
you
you,
know
that
I think that's the thing. Like with WB, isn't or have they've lost like a lot of like. I think that's another thing too is like that maybe they can't afford a lot of these badass actors. You know, that's why they're getting people like I had never heard of this. The girl playing Supergirl, Sasha, whatever the shit.
yeah, I mean, it's true. They're probably Hamada's viewpoint, and I think Hamada was a cheapskate. You look at the budgets on his movies, and I think, and I know Andy Muschietti was the one who picked Sasha Calle, but I don't know. I think if Hamada was more smarter and he went for a bigger, higher caliber actress, Hamada probably could have a say in it.
I think it's truthfully like, I mean, like Hamada came from a horror film background, right? With like the films he did,
Yeah.
and like the dude's treating these budgets like he did with those films, right? And like you have like maybe one kind of known star in those movies that he did, and then the rest were,
Yeah.
you know, a lot of unknown people, and then the budgets were incredibly low. Even the marketing wasn't great. And that's kind of the
Yeah.
way he's running this ship, and you can't run it that same way. It's just not how it
I mean,
works.
especially DC, right? DC, I mean, there are small stores in DC, but you're dealing with Justice League characters and at least the beta level characters of DC. You got to go, in Gio's words, you got to go a little bit more epic than that. People expect a little bit more, you know?
Yeah, but
Exactly.
I thought when they brought Hamada in and he was gonna be doing the quote unquote horror stuff, like he picked the worst parts of horror films to bring in. Because I thought that the approach meant that they would be doing more stuff like Joker, essentially, like small film, not a big budget, but it's just falling off of like this big idea and like a scarier thing or something like that. And it's like it's more grounded in the sense that like they have to ground it because of the budget. So like instead of being this like crazy idea, they would like handicap things in a lot of ways. Like think of like Prey or something like that, where they just like keep it contained into the story and they would do it. So I thought that that's what he was gonna do, and I would have been okay with that. Just like I don't understand what these films are trying to be about. The films that he brought in, like if you watch Birds of Prey, like it doesn't. It feels like
That was a rough
somebody
watch,
went up
man.
to the writer. But it feels like somebody that the people don't have a story to tell. Like
You
somebody
know,
went up
like,
to the writer and said, I need a Shazam movie. So go make a Shazam movie. And that's what you get. I
all
need a
these,
Birds of Prey movie. So go make a Birds of Prey movie, and that's what we got. Like there's no story in that movie. All the creators can like say, oh yeah, I had all this stuff, but like first of all, we know that's bullshit because we didn't see the movie that she wanted to write. So off the ground. But even then, like it doesn't feel like she fucking spent her whole life thinking like, oh, I'm gonna make this Birds of Prey movie. Like no,
exactly, yeah.
like she got the opportunity to make a superhero movie that by a female, and like maybe that she dreamed of her whole life, but she didn't dream of making this story, and you could tell, and that's why that story is not good.
It's the writing, man. It's Christina Hodson.
Yeah, it's
She's
like
in everything.
yeah, their heart's not in it, and like you see the same shit in the fucking Disney shows too. It's like yeah, they didn't dream of writing the story that they're writing
Yeah.
because these people are not.
These
They don't care about superhero shit.
these
And
writers,
they
their main
yeah, go ahead.
their main priority is to make these characters and stories new and fresh of their own take. That's the problem. They always feel like there's a chip on their shoulder. They got to prove that they bring something innovative, which is fine. You want to bring something innovative, fresh, it's cool too. But there's like zero respect for the source material, and I think they're just embarrassed of the source material. They just want to bring something new to the table, something fresh, and it always falls flat when you go. But if that's your main priority, if that's your main goal, is to prove something to viewers that you're some fresh new person that can, bring something completely like J.J. Abrams, like the stuff he's thinking of, like the ideas that he's had. It's just like, what are you thinking, man? Why are you going so crazy? Why are you going
Yeah,
so off
that's
from
a
the
great
source
example,
material?
because like inevitably somebody's gonna hear this argument and be like, "Oh, you're gatekeeping," but that's not where we're going with this. It's like I don't care who writes like these stories. What I'm saying is that they have no interest in writing the stories that they're writing. They want what they are wanting to do. What they like. They're like they're happy that they get to do a big blockbuster movie, and that's great. That all sorts of new, different voices get to make blockbuster movies, but they don't want to tell the story that they're telling, and you can tell
Yeah.
that when you watch the movie. Like they didn't live their whole life like sitting there going, "Oh, I really want to write this Birds of Prey movie." That's not where they came. They really wanted to write a movie, and that's not the story. And then they take the elements of what they really wanted to do and they try to shove it into the superhero thing, and then it ends up not working because when you have all these characters with like set guidelines of who they are, they've been written, pretty well for so long. It's hard to just inject what you want to in the film without completely disrespecting the background. And I do appreciate that in the MCU where they kind of sat there and were like, all right, we obviously don't care about the comics, so we're just gonna go ahead and write our own stories, and it ends up coming out better because then at least what you get is like you get from time to time a person that is trying to tell something that they're trying to be told for like a long time, and all they do is like kind of change the flavor to be like a comic book thing. And at least that comes out as a story that you can sit through and like make sense. The Hamada movies, they don't fucking make any sense. Like it just doesn't. I don't understand where the fuck they're going with that. But anyway.
I mean, the thing I will say though, like, is especially adding on to all this is like, like look at the decisions that are made for the Flush, right? And the thing is that like all of these decisions, just like you cannot sit there and tell me. I really refuse to believe that like Andy Muschietti came into the studio. I was like, guys, we got to bring back Keaton. It's the most brilliant idea. Like, come on, that was clearly a studio thing. I think like, oh, we got to sell some tickets, guys. We're gonna get Keaton on the poster. It's gonna be great.
Yeah, for sure.
I'll never forgive WB for skipping on fucking Jeffrey D. Morgan as Flash Batman.
That was the most perfect casting we've ever seen.
WB
Him and who he
is-
had for Martha. Jesus.
They're really good at just fumbling potential.
It was beautiful. It was beautiful. And then that girl, Lauren, I forgot what her name is, but she's from
Lauren
Lauren
Walking Dead.
Cohen.
See,
Oh my god.
honestly,
She's perfect.
like
She's
part
so
of why I love BBS so much and why I hate it so much is because while I was watching it, I was like, oh my god, this is perfect.
Exactly.
Like what they're setting up right now is amazing. And then the blunder happened.
When I first saw the Bruce Wayne Nightmare and BVS where Flash comes to talk to him, in my head I'm like, dude, we already saw Thomas Wayne and Martha Wayne. I was like, oh my god, they're setting it up. They're setting it up.
It was
See, this
perfect.
is perfect. Like Man of Steel, right? That is, you watch that film and you're like, somebody lived their whole fucking life thinking about Superman this way. Like, Zack sat there and he was like, "Oh, this is who Superman is to me," and that's what the fucking movie came out to be. And that's the problem, that you don't get that with these creators because they don't have that connection to like source material. So they don't have like this. They don't want to tell the story. They want to tell some other story, and you just don't feel it in the movie that you're watching. Like Man of Steel, like it's a complete. There's a lot of changes in the core of like Superman in that like he takes a lot of like license for what he does there, but it works out because he had a story to tell, and he thought about Superman that way for so long. And it is a take of Superman that like has been in the comics before and doesn't come out to screen often. So it all worked out. Like he still respected who the character at his core is, and that's why he was able to do what he was doing. You don't get that with all these like new films. So I don't think like, I don't know, would you even fucking want to watch the fucking Flash? Like, is there any story about the Flash that you even care about like seeing right now?
Is there any what? Say it again.
Like any Flash story that you guys actually want to see right now?
Yeah.
Nightmare Justice League. That'd be
Well, I
pretty
mean,
good.
I remember, do you remember that whole thing where Grant Morrison was going to help Ezra Miller? That would have been cool.
Yeah, I wonder what that script was like.
I don't know. I think Grant's a little washed, but yeah.
Who knows? I mean, this script's gone through so many.
And I think I'm actually not in the park of people that like. I don't think that comic book writers are necessarily good screenwriters. It's a
Yeah, I
different way
agree
of
with that.
storytelling.
Yeah, that's
And
true.
I
I
don't
agree
think,
with that.
Yeah.
And also, like,
100%, yeah.
modern comic book writers, half of them hate the source material
Yeah.
as it is. Like, they hate their own audience.
And,
It's
and
crazy.
they all have some kind of narrative they got to push,
I think-
some kind of weird agenda.
Yeah, they're destroying the brand. They're
Have Chris
destroying the
Terrio,
industry.
Chris
Well, I think you're
Terrio-
talking about the ones nowadays. I'm sorry. I just I feel like there's definitely a gap because I feel like a lot of the writers that aren't in business anymore definitely aren't that same way. But it's a lot of the modern ones that all
Yeah.
stick together and have the same exact opinion from the last 10
Yeah.
years. That's what
Yeah.
I feel like.
Yeah, and those and then also you have to preface that those writers came in as these big studios were acquiring the business. So they probably were brought it who knows if they would have even become famous comic book writers if it was more like the old regime that was running it at the time. So
Chris Terrio and David Goyer would make an awesome team. Chris Terrio and David Goyer, and then also I think Ben Affleck too, bro. Ben Affleck and I don't know, Frank Miller. If they got together and they were like, "Hey, let's write something," they'd make.
fuck if Ben sat there and he wanted to become a fucking big time producer with imagine Ben as a Kevin Feige. That would be a great move for him in his career right now. I think he's kind of peaked as who he is as a actor.
He's a great writer, dude. He's fucking amazing.
No, that's what I'm saying. He's a great writer. He's a great director. I wanted to see him do more films in that vein, and he kind of he fell off of it because people didn't like the last movie that he came out with, which I thought was pretty good though.
Gio, I think you have the wrong idea about where Ben's passions lie. The reason he signed on for Zach's movies was because Zach told him the whole arc that he was going to take as a character. He was like, all right, so you start out fucked up, and then you get kind of a revival story, and then in the end, you die. So, he told him his whole arc, and that's what he signed on for, to play that Batman. And then, I mean, Marvel stole that arc for Iron Man, but obviously it didn't happen. Ben's not in this for the Justice League. He's in this for the Batman story, and because that's the character that he's drawn to. I don't think he would give a fuck about any type of greater DC universe story unless it's centered on Batman.
He's a comic book reader. He's a fan of the work. So I don't
Batman fandom. He never talks about, I love that Superman comic. He's never said anything close to that.
Yeah, but that's just his favorite character. I'm just saying,
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
If someone was capable of doing it, of acting, knowing what a director needs and all this sort of shit, I think Ben could do it. I think that.
I guess,
he would
but
be able to
I don't think
orchestrate.
he gives a fuck, man.
No, I don't know if I'm not saying that he would want to do it. I'm just saying he could do it.
Oh yeah.
I think Ben Affleck likes good stories, and I think that he appreciated Zach's story of the Justice League. He did have his heart more into the BVS thing because it was more Batman centered, but he also did like I think he did like the story that was happening that Zach was telling about the Justice League. But I think that he just wants stuff that's more grounded and more fuck yeah, if that makes sense. He wants shit to be just better, high quality.
I think high quality is a better word for it. So we keep saying grounded, but that's not really what I mean. What I mean is I want the film to be shot like a film. I want the cinematography to be serious, and I want it to be well written. I want it to have 3 acts. I want it to be an actual film. Which when you watch other Cape shit, it's not that. Disney
even
movie.
Zach, I'm sorry to say this like this, bro. I'm sorry to say it like this. I love Zack Snyder's Justice League, but it's not as good as Batman v Superman. And Batman,
I think it's because of the sets. The sets, you know what I mean? When you watch BVS, I think it's a lot more on location, right? Than Zack Snyder's.
It's not just that, Frank. I think there is a way to shoot watching The Bear kind of I don't know, I keep going back to that show. Anybody could have made that show about a kitchen in any sort of way. The reason that show is good is because of how artistic it is, and it's deeper than the story that you're seeing in front of you. So that's the same thing that happens in BVS. You have this movie in front of you, and Batman's fighting Superman, but there's all this depth to it in the story that it's telling, and it becomes an actual film, and that doesn't happen with other Cape shit. Cape shit usually is just you have the setup in the first act, and then by the third act, you're gonna fight the duplicate of himself, and that's the fucking formula over and over and over again. It's not an actual film. They're not trying to actually tell, to shoot this in any sort of good way. That's why it comes out looking like a fucking CW show. All of it. It's not actual film.
With
So
Justice
what I
League,
would
you
like
have
to see is actual film.
who's actual film?
No, what I would like to see with Cape Shit is if they made actual films.
Yeah, like
yeah.
BVS. Well, with
Yes.
Cape Shit, you have to remember what was going on at the time was BVS had just gotten horrible reviews. Zack's script with Terrio had just been scrapped, and they were rewriting it while they were shooting Justice League. Like, this was not Zack's passion project anymore. Like, he shot the Snyder Cut as almost a formulaic, generic superhero movie. He didn't shoot it as his masterpiece that he had written with Terrio. So what we got, and he got to go back in like last year in 2021 or 2020, and he got to go back in and like put more of his personality in it. But still, what he shot was this rewritten bastardization of the script that the studio had finally signed off on.
You guys remember when
Ben stabbing me in the heart right now. Go ahead.
Do you remember, like, back then before Snyder left Justice League in 2017, when the bloggers, a bunch of them were invited to the set, and a bunch of them wrote articles about pretty much the idea was that Zack supposedly heard the criticism, he's making Justice League lighter and more funnier, and these bloggers are talking about visiting the set. And I remember reading those articles and thinking, man, it's like they took something from like Zack. Every quote they had of Zack, he just sounded so sad in those quotes.
Yeah.
Like there's something they were definitely catering. Like I think the studio had invited all those bloggers to set, and it was like I forgot who it was. Like Campia was there, and a bunch of those guys. They were all
That
there, and they were
Devin
like
guy.
giving it. Yeah, you guys, you remember that, right? If you go back and read that article, look at all the quotes they had of Zack. I think O'Connell was there, Sean O'Connell, and everything Zack said, it just sounded kind of like he was
That
so
whole
sad
fucking
talking about
thing
it.
was
Zack,
all
I think
just
that's
to
where
throw
Devin
Zack under the
took that.
bus.
Yeah, I think that's where like that picture was taken of Devin, that like the famous Larry Fong retweet where it says he wish it ran him over.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that's exactly the time.
Yeah,
Wait.
Sean McConnell definitely had the same picture.
He told him he wished you meant what? Explain that one to me.
Oh no, so like that Devin, I don't know what I don't know what his full name is. That one blogger that like
I think Farakchi or something.
Roxy, yeah. He's the one that like worships like, you know, James Gunn and the ground he walks on and all this other shit. So, you know, he basically visited the set of Justice League during this time that Nas was talking about. And basically, he had like a photo of him in front of the Batmobile, and basically like Larry Fong retweeted it and was like, "I wish it ran him over." Yeah,
I remember that. That.
But I mean, at the time, that was a more pertinent comment because I think he was getting accused of what was he getting accused of? Like,
Some
trying
kind
to
of assault,
sexual
assault.
have sex with a
Oh
minor.
yeah, he
like
sexually
that.
assaulted someone. Yeah, that's very true.
Yeah, allegedly. I don't know where the legal battle is on that, but you got to throw allegedly in here so it sounds official. I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh well, no,
Official
allegedly I meant,
podcast.
but it's very true, like what you're saying. Like that
Yeah,
was
like at
during
the
that time.
Larry wasn't just saying the Zack thing. Larry was also saying like this dude's a predator. But yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Interesting.
But yeah,
All
it
right.
did sound like they really destroyed it, you know, during that time, that visit.
Well, I think the point of that was to destroy Zack's confidence in himself and in his script and in his ideas. I think that was like the studio coming in and trying to just steamroll Zack so that he would just be their yes man from now on. I think that's what really like killed the whole franchise.
Yeah, because he said at SnyderCon, he said that the script that he had for Justice League, that they never did that. Because they said that something about the scary idea or whatever. And we never found out what the scary
Blood
idea
in the
was.
streets or whatever.
Yeah, that he was like, there was a scary idea, and that like I guess there's gonna be riots on the streets. He said something like that.
Yeah, I did hear that. I remember that part during that.
And then and we see concept art of like Batman, with the parademons, Batman like investigating parademon nests. That shit was cool, bro. I'm like, I'm not trying to shit on Justice League because I love that movie. It's great, but it is a little bit like you watch it and you feel kind of like, damn, this is not as great as BVS, bro. And only when you watch BVS can you really see a glimpse of Justice League. Like, not to be a dick.
I still think though, like I still
True.
think that Justice League is the tip top version of what it is. Because at the end of the day, it was yes, we got the compromised version of the Snyder Cut and all that. But at the end of the day, it's a film that needs to be too busy. There's too much that's going on in it. Like BVS got to be this contained story because really it was just about sort of Batman and Superman meeting each other. They're different, and it's about like the different takes on what justice is. So they were able to wrap that story together, right? But when you have introducing like fucking all the members of the Justice League, reviving Superman, introducing who Darkseid is, there was too much to like bring into the realm that
I also
like
think
yeah, just really quick enough. I think that like
Hmm.
the Snyder Cut acts as a sort of like bridge film between the beginning of the Snyderverse, right, and what he was doing there and introducing everyone there and sort of having this concept of like what is justice, which lays the groundwork for then when you have this like true evil with like Darkseid and all of them, and your mind's kind of fucked with what you learned in BVS and what they learned from each other and like the characters that are all lived in and shit like that. But you do need this film sort of sitting in the middle, taking the universe from like what you thought was it like you thought it was big to be introduced to an alien and to be introduced to like Batman and introduced to Justice League. But Jack's like, that's not big. Big is the fact that this is sitting in this realm where like there's this guy Darkseid and all this other shit and like let's really expand the fucking universe. So like Justice League kind of sits in the middle and it kind of says like, all right, now we're moving into fucking the last phase of shit and we're gonna have like the idea like it'll allow you to like fucking sit there and maybe when you go into Justice League 2 and it was like the nightmare stuff, like your mind's already fucking open and ready for that to happen because you already got like your your regular Justice League and seeing them there. So I think judging basically the long story short, what I'm trying to say is like Batman v Superman has the ability to be a different type of film than what the Snyder Cut is, just because the Snyder Cut needed to have so much happen in it to be able to move on to the rest of the story. So
Well, I mean, also in its defense, like that movie, oh fuck, I just forgot what I was gonna say.
sorry.
No, like I think I was being a little bit too harsh saying that that wasn't at all the movie that Zach had planned, because I definitely think he shot a lot of what he planned, and he probably shot a lot of it without the studio knowing about it. Like Zach's a pretty
Yeah.
clever guy, and he can do a lot with a little budget. So I'm sure he shot a lot of the old script, but one thing that he said, and I think it was just really the scary idea, whatever. They never shot those scenes because I think that was the romance between Bruce and Lois. Really, was the main scary idea where like they had
Yeah.
a kid and then Lois dies and shit.
Yeah, for sure.
Why would that be the scary idea? Though? That's not even that scary. It's just like you've
It's like
seen it in the Batman.
DC
It's
fans.
definitely controversial.
For
No,
DC
but
fans.
you've seen it
yeah.
in the Batman animated series where they go out on a date and they're gonna.
Andy, think of the children. Think of
Yeah,
the
it's
children.
because of the children, Andy. Yeah, like at the end of the day, they're trying to sell fucking toys, you know, like.
Well, yeah, but bro, Batman anime. I'm telling you guys, the animated series did it already.
Yeah, they did it with like he went on a date with Lois. Yeah, it was pretty.
So you guys are saying he was gonna full on.
And I'll tell you, that had Superman fans like super pissed off when that happened, just in the animated cartoon. But imagine
Superman fans are
Batman.
retarded. They're oh shit, edit that part out. I'm sorry, I forgot. Superman
What did
fans
you?
are just dumb, you know, like not dumb. Maybe that's dumb. Then maybe that's politically incorrect too. But that's and like I
mean,
loved when I saw Batman animated series. I loved that fucking the chemistry between Lois and Bruce Wayne. I thought it was great. It's awesome.
Like, it honestly makes sense. Like, as an adult, Lois
Yeah.
Lane's not gonna be drawn to some dorky coworker. Like, fuck that. You could have fucking billionaire, handsome dude. Like, it's clear as day who she's gonna pick. Like, give me a break.
What
Oh,
would be
even
cool?
if he is
what
Superman,
what would have
Batman's
been
got
cool?
like,
What would have been cool?
Wow. This is
Maybe
what Ben
because
thinks
we
about
didn't see
love.
it. Maybe because we didn't see it happen on screen. But what would have been cool is maybe like Bruce falls in love hardcore with Lois, but Lois never loved him at all.
that's actually that was Zach's plan.
Okay, that
Like,
would be cool.
Lois
Like
thought of it as a mistake.
she was just
Bruce
vulnerable, or she was just like fucking bored. That'd be cool.
No, but like that's what Zach's plan was, right? So they're both kind of like fucked up after Superman dies because Bruce blames himself that he's dead, and Lois is like, "Oh fuck, I just lost the dude of my dreams or whatever." So she's like kind of vulnerable, and and Ben Affleck, Batman's just fucked up, and so they get together, just whatever, and then Lois is like, "I didn't mean to do that" or whatever, it was a mistake, and then Bruce is like, "Oh shit, I'm still like in love with you after that." And so if you read the boards, Lois is kind of like resentful to him, and he keeps coming after her saying, "I know the kid is mine. I know the kid is mine," or something like that. And Lois doesn't want to admit it to him. She was like, "No, it's not yours." And then eventually, like, she dies before she ever tells him that it was his, right? And so that's why Flash goes back and Bruce tells Flash to tell past Bruce to say that the baby is yours, because he knows if he knows that back then he's gonna like jump in front of those Omega beams.
It
But
sounds silly on paper, but maybe Zach would have made it work. I don't know.
that sounds silly. I thought it sounded dope, because that's what when I was reading those boards for
Yeah,
the
and I
time, I
think
was like,
they're
holy
also
Well,
shit.
the reason why I think it sounds silly is because there's all this other crazy shit going on in this world, like fucking Darkseid and who the fuck is Superman and all this crazy shit, and then it just narrows down to this love triangle. Like, no, man, come on.
I mean, that's
but
that's
you
like a
weren't.
side
But you
plot.
weren't gonna see it. You weren't gonna see it in the order that we're telling it to you.
Correct.
Yeah, that was spread out
You're gonna
across
see it.
3 or 4 movies.
Yeah, exactly. Like you see the Nightmare universe, right? And you're like, how did this happen? And then like little by little, like you're like, oh, this is how it happened.
And he's not a fan of the Ben cut.
But and also you're missing the context too of like you would have had that scene of like Lois like feeling all like sad and shit, and like she talks to Ben, and then like they finally drink the wine in the cellar or whatever. Like they said something.
If Zach came back, how would they? And Zach came back, and they were like, "Hey, do your fucking vision." How would he correct it now?
They can't do that now because he was gonna have other stuff planted in the Snyder cut that he didn't shoot and he didn't put in. Like, there was no romance in the Snyder cut, and that's where it would have been.
Yeah, but
right, right after
he's got
BTS.
too.
He could do something cool too. He could do if they told him to come back, he could do something cool. I think he can maybe do something even better than that. Because he's that.
Yeah, I mean, he said he already rewrote his plan, so
Yeah, I mean, we've already, what we saw in those Jim Lee storyboards, that's not gonna happen. That's not Zach's style to repeat or just do something that the world already knows and expects.
Yeah, I mean, I'd still love to see it, but you're right. He's not. If he came back, he wouldn't do that exact thing.
Dude, you can see it. It's in a motion comic, Ben.
God damn it, no. Why'd you have to mention that?
It's 2 a.m. Maybe we should wrap this up.
Damn,
Oh my god, Geo's 45S on a Saturday.
That's fucking 2 a.m.
All right, well.
All right. Good episode. Thanks, 44.
Yeah, good episode 44. Another winner.
The best podcast ever, man.
Hopefully we'll get you on next time.
He's
typing in the chat right now. He's saying he doesn't have Skype. What a bitch.
Skype.
If 44 wants to join the next episode, he needs to DM Geo ASAP. Everyone should DM Geo.
Oh God, no. I'm gonna block.
Geo loves DMs.
I'll block
Anyone that's listening to this in the future.
I mean, if you're a Korean girl, you could totally DM me.
I think if we ever have fans, we should have all the fan questions go to Gio's DMs.
Like,
Thank God we have no fans, huh?
Yeah, we're never gonna have any fans.
Gio, we didn't
I
even
don't-
start that beef with Hamad. What the hell, man? Did you come up with a plan?
that was last week's beef. Now we have to pick a new person.
Last
beef.
week?
Yeah, man, you get the internet moves fast, bro. Come on.
It wasn't last week. It's the same week.
I
It
don't
was
know.
Thursday.
I'm just stuck in my house.
Dude, Gio's
What
high right
happened?
now. Leave it alone.
I'm fine. I'm good. I'm
Are you
on
talking
it.
about the Syl stuff last week?
No, you didn't watch the episode. Shut up, Frank.
Oh.
Yeah, shut up, Frank.
Uh,
Oh man, I just saw on the timeline somebody made a Metal Gear out of a cucumber. Hold on, I'll post it in the chat.
All right, yeah, it's time to end the chat. All right, cool. Thanks for coming, guys. I guess I'll try and edit this one and get it up sometime tomorrow,
all
hopefully.
right, man.
Isn't it cool?
You guys,
Oh
Yo.
my god.
Good chat.
you guys are ending
Yeah.
it already? I just got.
Yeah,
back.
is there some last notes? Andy, you want to say something?
What would you guys say? No, I guess just have fun, everybody, and stuff.
Have fun.
I'm kind of
everybody.
depressed. Like I was gone for like 5 minutes,
Oh, sorry, man.
came back, and then now you guys are just like, what time is it over there with you guys?
2
It's 2
a.m.
in the morning, but for Gio, it's like 6 in the morning.
Oh shit! Wow.
He actually took you seriously. No, it's 2 in the morning for me.
It's 2 in the morning. That was deep.
Well, God bless you
Don't lie
guys.
to Andy.
Thank you guys for fucking coming over here and making me sip
Yeah.
and stuff, and just hang out. And I don't know, man. I'll
Yeah.
talk to you guys later, I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we got to plan that Texas thing too.
What
Fuck
Texas?
yeah.
thing?
Hamad wants to do a theater, and so we got to do. Fuck, I'm gonna edit this out. Hamad wants to do a
If
theater.
it's gonna be Texas, it's got to be Austin, Texas.
Yeah.
That's
Why
super gay.
Texas? Why does he want to go to Texas?
Austin, Texas.
No,
Austin
Hamad
is
wants to
where
go
all
to
the
the
cool
Chinese
shit is, man.
theater in California,
That's not
but
worth it, man.
that's not a good choice. So
Apparently,
Texas?
the better theater in Texas is in San Antonio. No, I just thought it was a good place because it's in the middle of the country. So like the West Coast people gotta travel, I gotta travel, everybody's gotta travel.
But
Just
this
make this
dude
shit
got to
fair.
travel like fucking far. Like,
Who?
come on.
Hamad? He had
Well,
to travel far anyway.
I'd say
It doesn't
I
matter
don't-
where he goes.
I don't care about what you guys are talking about, but I want to go to Austin, Texas because there's shit that I want to see there.
Who do
So
you want to see? Who do you want to see in Austin, Texas?
cool shit, bro.
What cool
Okay.
shit?
Get with the program. I said there's cool shit, and you go, who do you want to see? I just said cool shit.
What cool shit's in Austin, Texas?
A lot of cool shit that I want to see.
A lot of it.
Frank, have you ever left New York?
I have. I went to
Wow.
all the places
What's
that
a-
matter.
You went to Philly the other day.
I went to Philly. Yeah.
That's so far away.
I've been to Florida. I've been to California. I've been. Yeah, that's really all that fucking matters here. I'm done here. I mean, I'm not going to Oklahoma. Sorry, man.
You're not even invited.
I'm so devastated. I'm gonna go cry.
So wait, hold on. What was like the last thing we said about like the Snyderverse? Just that we're fucked or what?
No, dude.
Or did it end like in a positive note?
No, we're
walked away, Andy. You guys have to take that shit.
like what?
in a positive note.
What was it that like what? It better not be corny. Like, well, even if it never
We ended off.
like we still have like the memories. Like, I don't want to hear that shit. Like, I want to hear something positive.
Is this gonna be included in the recorded part?
I don't give a shit. I'm asking what it ended.
Oh no, well, I'm asking because that was my next comment.
Okay, cool. What was the positive note we left on?
Here, I'll wrap it up and then we can Ben can edit the rest out.
All right.
Have a good night, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you, 44. Appreciate it. See you in episode 4.
Wow. I love it.
Now,
See,
now,
this is why
now
we
we
need
can talk.
Nos here. Nos can actually
Thanks,
keep us organized.
Now we can talk, and then Ben can
Ben
say what's
Ben
on
is
his
a
mind.
terrible host, man.
I'm leaving. Later, guys.
Hey,
Bye,
Nas,
Gio.
can you do like a pre-recorded intro? That'd be dope.
No, dude. I already did the
After
art.
the
You gotta
talk
put
shit
that art as
experience.
No,
the cover of the.
Nas
I
is
don't
good,
think I
man.
don't think you guys understood my question. My question was, what did you guys leave note on? Because I was not here.
We left off on Mikey was right.
Oh, okay.
No, we didn't. Jesus, I'm gonna mute Frank. All right, Frank's
well, you guys
muted.
have a great night. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow in the chats. God bless.
All right, see you guys.
See you.
Peace out.
All right, see ya.